You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Hello everybody, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. And today is another Sunday, another show. I'm your host, Gianluca Zanna. Now, I'm going to have interesting guests during the second hour and the final hour, and please do not miss any of those hours. But this hour, normally I bring also a guest. Today I have some news, some interesting things that I need to articulate a little bit by myself, so bear with me. First of all, a lot of things are happening. I'm telling you, this is like living almost in some sort of a surreal world. I mean, talking about what Obama is doing and what this organized crime that is not just the Democrats, don't get me wrong, the Republicans, elite Republicans are behind this well against Trump and his plans, whatever he's trying to do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Trumpy, okay? I'm not even a Republican, even I voted for Trump. And I'm glad on some issues because I tell you, Hillary would have been the complete death of this country. There is not even an argument for me there. But the point is, what we have seen now, a roach like Mr. Obama, that was never a president anyway. By the way, there was a new birth certificate that was tweeted by his brother. I mean, he was born in Kenya. We knew that. A piece of trash. But my point is, Obama doesn't go away. It's like a cancer. Think about it. A freaking roach that doesn't want to go away. No matter how much you spray him with poison, he's still there, still jumping around Washington. You know, as you heard, he set up home, his beautiful bunker exactly in Washington, and his plan is pretty much on the open. He said that to try to undermine President Trump. Now, never in the history of this country, a president that is being on the way out, supposed to go to retire, do whatever he wants. No, he's still there, harassing the crap out of the other president. This is insane, seriously insane. But what really concerns me now, it is not just that. I really worry that they may start to set up a situation with wars. I mean, talking about now, we know the CIA, what type of trash they are too. I mean, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Ron Paul used to say, abolish the CIA. Guess what? Everybody was laughing. Oh, how dare you? We need the CIA. And now we see the CIA is just part of the, let's say, the armed hand, or we want to say, of the shadow government. They're creating chaos. They're trying to set up a situation to try to blame it on Russia. I mean, this is something serious. And right now, it's been proven also the fact that Obama has been using the power to spy completely illegal in the Trump Tower, in the Trump campaign. And by the way, they can spy on any one of us. That's the interesting thing. It's not just anymore about political, opponents. What they're doing to Trump now, I'm glad, because finally start to show to the people on the Republican side that they used always to defend this wireless, completely warrantless tapping. After all, it's for the terrorists. We need to defend us from the terrorists. So don't worry about it. They're never going to use it against us. Guess what now? All the Republicans, they used to be okay with that when it was Bush pushing this stuff because it was for the terrorists. Now they're using it against our own people. Think about it. So I'm glad that part. At least Trump is proving the fact that all these things they were talking about, conspiracies, they were real. They spy on every one of us. every conversation, every email. I mean, even mainstream news like Hannity, Fox News, normally they used to be always, on the side of the government. At least whatever Bush and Republican Party used to do was okay. The Patriot Act was okay. After all, we don't need warrants to check on people because maybe they are terrorists, maybe. No, the founding fathers, they didn't think like that. That's why they gave us the Fourth Amendment. That's why they gave us the Bill of Rights. For this reason. So my point is this. There is a good and there is bad. The good is that there is a lot of bad, but the bad is coming out, is on the open. And finally, even the zombies, they start to smell the coffee. Thank God. The bad is still, there are still a lot of zombies out there, especially on the, let's say, the left side, that no matter how much, you show him the crimes and the things completely bad. I mean, seriously, if you were a Democrat, I would be so disgusted the fact that, a president gives orders to spy on any one of us. Forget about Trump. And we know very well that, Snowden proved it. That the Obama administration has been spying all over all of us, 300 million people and more. Forget about the dignitaries from other countries. They've been spying on us, all of us. Of course, when Nixon spied on 3 journalists, he had to resign. But Obama, everything is fine. There are still idiots out there that still believe he's the savior. I mean, that's what really disgusts me. Now, little bit about Trump. As I said, I'm not a Trumpy. There are things that, for example, I'm complaining. I mean, what's going on with Syria here? Should have been done. There was a fraud. You want to fight ISIS? All you got to do is go to stop, people at the CIA and the Pentagon to fund ISIS. We know very well that ISIS was funded by this administration. And we know very well, it's factual, that Al-Qaeda was funded by the other administration, the Bush administration. It's a fact. These are the boogeymans that the military-industrial complex need when they need to, push more tax dollars, more trillions of dollars in wars, that they're not even wars. They're just acts of, let's say, racketeering mafia to get whatever they want with our money. Now, Syria. Why are we in Syria? President Trump, seriously, give me a good reason. Oh, but because of ISIS. You know what? Let the Syrians fight ISIS themselves. Trust me, they can take care of business. If we do not keep straining ISIS, if our tax dollar and the CIA doesn't keep giving them weapons, I think Syria could take care of ISIS very quickly, especially with the help of Russia. Of course, Senator McCain doesn't think that. He's trying always to still keep this enemy alive. Russia, the bad guy. Guess what? One thing Trump said right, though. I mean, nobody's perfect. Not just all the killers on one side. We got our own killers, too. Okay? And don't get me wrong. Russia is being a very terrible situation in times, especially when it was under, behind the Iron Curtain. People died, people got in the camps, but guess what? We have no business there. And by the way, right now, the new Russia, is, as much as it's not perfect, I really believe at the end of the day, they're not even that bad as Obama. That's for sure. At least Russia is not in Mexico meddling with our business or in Canada. Of course, Russia pretty much got good deals with the Hillary Foundation for the uranium, but that's another story. Now, let's talk about what Trump has been doing in the first 50 days. I try to feel and find the positive. There is some positive. First of all, think the witch of Hillary is not in power. And forget about, the fact that her politics sucks. That she's a complete fascist, that she wants to look like she's helping the people. She's just, let's say, can I say whore? Yes, I can. A corporate whore working for the New World Order. As simple as that. As Obama was, as Bush was. That's a fact. So, let's see Trump what he's done. At least the things that somehow we can consider good. And for me, this is not about Democrats or Republicans. When somebody start to, let's say, even in ways that maybe I don't believe, in different ways, because I think what he's doing, some levels, it is not even really the role of a president. Like, for example, to try to create jobs. Never supposed to be the role of any president. Never supposed to be the role of any government to create jobs. I never read in the Constitution say, hey, you, U.S. government, you must create jobs. No. All you have to do, get the hell out of here. Leave the people in peace, and free market will create jobs. Freedom will create prosperity. That's a fact. But let's put it this way. Compared to Obama, Even, of course, I think his systems is still not constitutional, but at least Trump is a saint compared to any of these bastards. Okay, so first of all, in first 50 days in office, the U.S. has added 235,000 new jobs. 235,000 new jobs. That's pretty good. And this is official number from different sources. Now, as I said, it is not Trump's job to really force any corporation to change their behavior, but to create an environment where a corporation can prosper, where there are less regulations, yes, that's something that is government job. Of course, you need Congress still, but that's part all right. Okay, so U.S. employers added jobs beyond expectations. I'm just reading this article from InfoWar. In both January, 238,000, and February, 235,000, with the unemployment rate falling to 4.7 and wages growing by 2.8. This is according to Bloomberg, okay? The bastard of Bloomberg. America's labor market is getting better by any measure. I mean, think about that. Now, if we had Hillary, oh my God. Oh my God. Trump has cut the U.S. debt burden by $68 billion. Since the day of his inauguration, Trump has wiped $68 billion off the national debt. By the way, these are peanuts, okay? I mean, talking about 20 trillions, okay? Beside the, the other liability, but that's another story. So, the point is, at least it's the right direction. Don't get me wrong. It's the right direction. Manufacturing at its most robust since 1984. The Philly Fed Index, a survey of how well manufacturers are doing, it is highest level since 1994. Well, that's another interesting thing. Well, I'm also mentioning sources. I am not partisan. I am not a Republican. I'm not here to say Trump is perfect. But look, let's look at facts for a moment. Okay? Small and medium businesses are confident about the future. Well, that part is true. I'm telling you. If it was now Hillary, not only I would have not started a new business, I would have ran to Mars. Can you run to Mars? No, maybe I need to fly there. But guess what? I would hide somewhere under some desert, or maybe some beach in the South Pacific, just to forget about I ever existed. Okay? God help us. Okay. The stock market keeps toppling top highs. I still believe it's a fraud, but still, the numbers are the numbers. The Dow, closed about 20,000 for the first time ever days after Trump's inauguration, and hasn't stopped rising since. That's pretty interesting, okay? I tell you, there is a feeling, and I see this also as me, as a regular guy, in the streets with my friends that they have a small business like myself. I mean, there is an opportunity to say, wow, maybe we're going to see better places, better times. I tell you, I never felt that feeling, since Obama took over. I felt like the oppression on every level, even as a small business. Oh my gosh. God help us. Now, and there is more, corporations moving jobs back here, Samsung, Excel moving jobs back to the U.S., different things. Fiat, Italian Fiat will invest $1 billion into U.S. factories. Trump signed executive order ending Obama's onerous regulations on the coal industry. Thank God. And now let's not forget, one of the most important things I really believe that both Democrats and Republicans should understand, and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP, the most fascistic piece of, let's say, I don't even call it legislation. This is like an agreement, okay? A trade agreement that is going to be destroying all of our freedoms. Is gone. Thank Trump. And that would be just for me enough to vote for him. Because everybody else was pushing it. The Bushes are pushing it. Of course, Hillary was pushing it. All the globalists are pushing it. And remember what means the TPP. It means that you have an unelected bunch of rats, bureaucrats, working for corporations, completely bypassing any type of legislation. They write regulation that they become laws. And they destroy the sovereignty of our nations. Compromising our interests. I mean, that's so serious, so serious. It would be, if you think, NAFTA and CAFTA was bad, the TPP would have been the last stab in the heart of this republic. So at least that. Now, illegal immigration from Mexico is down 40% in Trump's first month. I mean, right there, you know, I think about, I'm an immigrant, for God's sake. At least I was one. And I'm an immigrant, not illegal alien, squatter, jumper the fence. I came here with a visa. That's what every one of us should do. You start your journey from your embassy or wherever you're from, and you don't jump any fence. That's why I believe in walls. Let me tell you, people, oh, you don't need a wall. Guess what? Do you have a door at your home? And maybe if you live in a home, most of the houses, by the way, they also have, little homes. They also have a little fence, do you? And when I see these rats, these hypocrites rats, like, for example, Geraldo, whatever his name, Rivera, that piece of trash, his commentator, overpaid piece of trash. Seriously, I'm not trying to be offensive. He is, because he's an hypocrite. Oh, the wall is a very insensitive thing. We don't need walls to say. But guess what? I'm sure Geraldo or any of these rich bastards, had nothing wrong about being rich. But when they're hypocrite, yes, you want to act like the man of the people. You're a piece of trash. So these people, these Hollywood stars, even the Pope, they say, we don't need a wall. It's such an anti-Christian thing. First of all, the Pope, he has the biggest wall in the world. I don't know, I forgot how many feet he's tall. You need an helicopter to climb it, for God's sake. And every one of these rich people, I'm sure they have not just a wall, they also have an electric fence on top of the wall. Do you have a door? Forget about the wall. Do you have a door with a lock? Or you live in completely fantasy land? No, you have a door. Everyone has a door. You have keys. Why? Because you want to know who is coming to your home. Maybe some of them, you don't want them. Maybe you don't want to have the home open to everybody. Why don't we just remove the doors, open the windows, and everybody can jump into your home as they feel, as they like, as they wish? No. It's exactly the same concept. So, I'm glad that Trump at least is addressing this problem with illegal immigration. That's a fact. Now, about sanctuary cities. What do you think about that? Trump is trying to stop that. And that's exactly what needs to be done. The cities, they cannot just be above the law. If we have immigration law, we have them. Otherwise, we don't have them. You cannot just pick and choose which laws do you have. Okay? Now, Obamacare, that's the problem that I'm having. Obamacare, unfortunately, doesn't need to be repealed and replaced. It needs just to be abolished, and let we go back from the beginning. Okay? Things, they weren't good. They weren't great. But I tell you something. I used to pay $130 a month for a very decent plan with a health insurance carrier. After Obamacare, they wanted $500. So I think we were better off before. But all really the government was supposed to do, my humble opinion, to try to fix Obamacare, is not replacing it. It's just, first of all, kill Obamacare. Simple as that. Just get a bunch of gasoline, get it 10,000 pages, whatever they are, and put a big fire in the middle of Congress and burn Obamacare. That would be the first thing. Now, second thing is very simple. Government, get the hell out of the way. That means remove these boundaries between states. We have these laws that are almost ridiculous to think that they're in America. Like, for example, if you have, an insurance that can sell in Arizona, maybe the same insurance company cannot sell in another state. That's exactly the problem. It's called corporatism. It's called fascism. Who tells me that you can sell in this state or I cannot sell in that state? Every insurance company should be free to sell in all 50 states. So we create free market, we create real competition. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So, and prices will go down, it will be affordable. Man, you could pay for insurance $100 a month. If me, as a regular guy, I was able to pay $130 a month for a very good plan. I don't want to go into details, but it was a good plan with a company, a good company. And that was pretty much reasonable. A price of maybe a coffee or two a day. Not even that. There is no excuse. And when everybody start to find these affordable prices, can go even lower. Maybe you can get insurance for $80 a month. I mean, that's great. Of course, everybody needs different plans. For me, I don't go to the doctor every day, but the point is, could be free market, could fix this problem. So Trump, please don't play this game, because Paul Ryan is a piece of trash, is exactly all the things we hate into the Republican Party. He's just a clown who says a bunch of lies, and I can't believe they keep re-electing that bastard. People like Paul Ryan made me burn the Republican card. Seriously. Paul Ryan, McCain, McConnell, Bonner, you are a piece of filthy trash. That's what you are, from my heart. I despise you as much as Obama, maybe even more. I know many Democrats say, oh my God, you always bash Obama and now you despise these bastards more than Obama. Yes, I do. Because Obama, you know, is a real piece of sewer. He's a rat. He works for the New World Order and he goes around, try to act like the man of the people. But we know, we always knew, at least I always knew. But these Republicans, they've wrapped themselves around the Constitution and the flag when they go back to their district and they try to act like, Captain America, and they're the worst roaches. At least I respect more somebody that is a pure evil, because you know what you get. Okay? Anyway, so that's my point. So anyway, there's so much going on. Trump cuts funding for international abortions. I don't say cut. Completely remove everything. Remove every funding for any abortion. If you want to do the abortion, you pay on your own dime. I still believe it's a capital crime, murdering an innocent child. Forget about funding or not. But that's another story. I don't want to start this conversation now. Now, what can I say? I'm just telling you, man. This is coming to a point that I'm fearful. And normally I don't use this word because, honestly, life goes on. But sometimes there are things that are beyond politics. What I really am fearful here, that this elite, since now they're seeing that Trump is not controllable. It may not be perfect, but this is doing huge damages to this globalism. I mean, right now, as much as it's not perfect, it's bringing back the idea of sovereignty. And that's not acceptable to their agenda. So they try to find a reason or an excuse to stop this plan of Trump, this agenda. And they will do everything to try to somehow stop him. And one of the things normally they can do very well, especially when they need to create a diversion, a crisis, it's create wars. Out of the blue now, North Korea is starting to go really active with missiles, testing and serious stuff. We're talking about nukes, okay? Then, of course, we know China is behind, and they try to now, the CIA, we know, is being proven. Also mainstream news, like at Fox News, that somehow they can pretty much, fake it, that the Russian government, the Russian military is doing some hacking job, and they can blame it on Russia. Instead, there's the CIA behind and the shadow government. So what I really am concerned, that they will try to put Trump in a situation to face World War III. I know sounds big, I know sounds scary, I know sounds crazy, but guess what? This is real. They need a war. They need a diversion. That's the fact. So what I can say, this is serious. We gotta really pray. And I'm amazed, I'm telling you, Trump is not untouchable. No president is untouchable. We know that. I mean, look at JFK, okay? And we knew that wasn't just the guy with the rifle. There was a complete conspiracy by the shadow government to stop him. And they did. But the problem is that also Trump has family. We don't know everything. We have no idea what really is going on behind the scenes. I mean, he has daughters, he has sons, he has grandsons. I mean, what the heck? They cannot be protected all day. So my point is this. We have no idea what's really going on behind. We may be really close to something that could be very, very dangerous. So do not let your defenses down. Do not think that, okay, we got Trump in, we have Republicans in Congress, we are cool, we are safe. No. This is the time that we need to be probably more vigilant than ever. First of all, we need to remove from office bastards like, Paul Ryan. Even if you're not in his district, guess what? Use the phone. Start to call his office. Let them know what you think. Do not use violence, of course, even in your language, even if you're irate, but let them know in a stern, unpolite, but American way. Use your First Amendment, okay? Seriously. Because this is the last, after all, these people answer to the phone, they are being paid by our tax dollar. The minimum they can do is listen and let them know. Of course, then we have, George Bush, that he did not criticize Obama for 8 years. Of course, now he's bashing Trump all the way. All the way. And that's okay. We know that. It's funny, when there were all these people from the Republican Party when 10 years ago or more, honestly, I started to bash Bush pretty fast. I said, well, this guy is not a patriot. This guy is not a conservative. This guy is a globalist. Look at his dad, Mr. New World Order. Guess what? I was the bad Republican. How dare you to criticize our president, Republican president, this piece of filth of Bush. Anyway, that's my point. Now, the shook true color, they proven. He supported Hillary. He voted probably for Hillary too. For sure he didn't support Trump. That's a fact. And now he's bashing the hell out of Trump. So anyway, that's the fact, guys. This is the fact. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint you, some of you Republicans, but it's time to wake up and smell the fascism. And that's the bottom line. It's time to wake up. Many of you did, and I'm glad. I'm not getting me wrong. Many of you did wake up. But still taking too long, okay? We need something a little more reactive, because time is going very fast. And people like Paul Ryan and the McConnell and this McCain and the Flake, my Jesus, help me out.
Traumatic injuries and post-traumatic stress, President Bush has worked to support programs that ease the transition to civilian life. In his new book, Portraits of Courage, a Commander-in-Chief's tribute to America's warriors, President Bush uses his love of painting to honor the sacrifice and courage of America's military veterans. We're going to talk to some of them in a moment. But first, President Bush, it's always nice to have you here in the studio. Thanks for joining.
Okay, let me puke. This guy first sent all these soldiers as cannon fodder to illegal wars, and we know that they were a fraud, and now he's trying to make it to look good, like, he's painting and, helping these poor people that came back without arms or maybe, without eyes or whatever. Such an hypocrisy, guys, seriously, but whatever. Let me just move. So anyway, listen, that's the bottom line. This is the bottom line. And when people say, I've been reading, by the way, lately on Facebook, after the Paul Ryan, the new Republicare, okay, the new replacement of Obamacare with the Rhino Care, they say, please give us the same health care that the congressmen have, the Congress has. I have a better idea, guys. Government, just leave us the hell alone. We don't need you in our life. Free market can take care of itself. And you, parasitic leeches in Congress, you do not need any health care on our tax dollar, because you're getting paid pretty much good, decent money for what you do. You can afford your own health care, like any one of us in the private sector does. So it's a very simple plan. I don't want the health care by the same health care the Congress is having. No, I just want the Congress, to leave us alone. And they need to pay for the health care too. So we're all clearly safe in a nice way, and there is no stress. All right. Let's have a little break. Then I have something to share with you. Something kind of disturbing about something that happened the last few months here in my office. Something that I need to tell you because it may probably even save your life. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
I have an aversion to lies, coercion, and fraud. A prime example of all three arrived in my letterbox recently from an electricity company. It congratulated me on being one of the lucky people who had been chosen to receive a smart meter. It informed me that, and I quote, Smart meters are a modern version of an analog meter, and they go the extra step by helping you to keep track of how much electricity your household is actually using. Unlike an analog meter, a smart meter records your electricity consumption at half-hour intervals and sends the data to your retail power company each day. End of quote. It then went on to describe in glowing terms all the so-called benefits to myself and to the health of my family of having a smart meter under such headings as, quote, know your facts, unquote, and, quote, smart meters and your health, unquote. And all of this stuff was followed by a lot of dangerously ignorant waffle, including a very phony chart purporting to compare EMF emissions from smart meters and the safety of them compared to EMF emissions from Wi-Fi routers, cell phones, microwave ovens, and so forth. Quite frankly, I was horrified. There are, in truth, 1,000 reasons why you do not want a smart meter in your home. People throughout the world who have been exposed to wireless smart meters experience an endless list of symptoms, from insomnia and nightmares to pressures in the head, anxiety, cardiac symptoms. It's almost endless. Nausea, flu-like symptoms, urinary issues, high blood pressure, hyperactivity, and brain damage in children, who, of course, are much more susceptible to damage than we adults are. In addition, peer-reviewed studies show that smart meters can result in DNA damage and sperm damage and destructive genetic and hormonal changes. I mean, it is hard to believe just how widespread the negative effects are. Weakening of the blood-brain barrier, for instance. Disturbance in the voltage-gated calcium channels, such as the ones in the heart. Degradation of immunity and even susceptibility to certain types of cancers. I believe that it's time for you to know the truth about smart meters and the horrendous hoax to the publish that continues to invade the lives of millions of people throughout the world. When you have a smart meter installed, corporations are able to analyze your home appliances and use the data completely without your consent or knowledge. They can then sell this information to other organizations to make use of this personal data for their own purposes. Smart meters make it possible for just about anyone to hack your home and invade your private life. They can spy on people living in a home by measuring electricity, gas, television, or water usage frequently and over time. And this is because security measures surrounding the digital transmission of smart meter data exposes you to misuse of the data that is collected. Now, as far as the smart grid, which has been created by millions of smart meters, is concerned, even former CIA Director James Woolsey has warned that on security grounds alone, the whole smart grid design is, and I quote, really a stupid grid. A smart grid can be easily hacked and even completely shut down, making power unavailable to whole cities. Even Homeland Security in the U.S. warns that the electric grids are highly vulnerable wireless systems. Okay, thanks to a compilation of reports from Australia, Canada, and the United States in regard to smart meter fires, we know now that despite all the promotional nonsense about how safe smart meters are by the smart meter companies, these smart meters can continue to destroy houses and people's lives. The Toronto Star reported in 2015 that 5,400 of the electricity conservation gauges have had to be removed due to the risk of the fires that they cause. After a protracted argument, back to me again, with the customer service team at my electricity provider, I made it clear that under no circumstances was anyone to put a smart meter into my home. I requested that they send me a formal letter confirming that they would not do this. After 3 weeks, during which no confirmation letter arrived, I got back to them once again and demanded it. What astounded me was simply that these people who were singing the praises of smart metering had no clue about what they were selling. They were like a group of parrots feeding back the party line, completely ignorant. Okay, here's the bottom line. If you already have a smart meter installed in your home, I suggest you ring your electricity supplier and demand that they remove it. If you do not have one, never agree to let them put one in. I also suggest that you watch a superb Canadian film on smart meters to find out the truth about these devices. This is how. Go online, search for the film, quote, Take Back Your Power, unquote. It is thorough, fascinating, and accurate. You'll learn from it all you need to know. You can also check out the list of references I've provided below, as well as hundreds more to find out the truth about smart meters, which are of absolutely no value to people who have them. It's time to get savvy. Your health and your life could well depend on it. Thanks for listening.
Okay. That was very good. I mean, Leslie Canton, I think she's a Canadian. She has a YouTube channel that I subscribe, Leslie Canton, and I think that's very important. Why I'm bringing this up today? Because guess what? About 4 months ago, just before Christmas, I finally said to myself, I have here a business, and also I have a warehouse where I also broadcast my show from, and I stay here in the office. I've been opting out from the smart meter for a while, and I know exactly what they do to you. But I almost wanted to say, let me try them on my skin, just because. So 4 months ago, exactly before Christmas, I think it was November, I got it written down, I allow the UNISOURCE, just think about the name, UNISOURCE. It means one, the only source. That's scary, eh? The way we are stuck in any country, not just America, any country, they give you only one option, one. So you cannot even compete. If you don't like them, guess what? Too bad. So anyway, I digress. We were given by UNISOURCE the opportunity that, of course, they were trying to push on me so many times, and I said, no, I don't want smart meters. And I delayed, and I say, okay, fine. Then I say, I want to try them. I want to try on my skin, because I really want to see what they're doing. And I know it's true, but still I wanted to try them. And I'm not masochist. I'm not trying to feel the pain. I just want to see, I want to really see what they can do to you. So I got this, I gave them the okay, the approval. They installed this smart meter. And even after a couple of weeks, without getting into details of my personal life, I have a person here working for me, my business partner. She started to get sick, weirdly sick. Symptoms like, let's put it this way, buzzing in her ears, irritated, tired, probably with digestion, fatigue, many other symptoms, pretty much all the symptoms that this lady was talking about. And started to get worse and worse. Me, same story. Not as bad, but guess what? Very interesting symptoms. Irritation, something normally I never have. I'm pretty calm, believe it or not. I can drink 6 espresso, 6 Zanna coffees a day, and I'm still fine. But still have these smart meters installed. Everything started to change. Even difficulty in sleeping. Even difficulty in focusing. Very strange. So finally, about probably, a week ago or so, I realized, wait a second. Because, we're getting sick in a weird way. Forget about just the chemtrails. This is something that makes no sense. All started since the time, not even after a few days after, a week after, UNISOURCE installed smart meters. So I started to say, oh my God, why I'm so stupid? Exactly what I was thinking. And for a moment, I forgot about the smart meters. And I tell you something, normally, the average person out there, why I'm playing this? Because, sometimes you may feel symptoms that I want you to replay this part, especially if you go to lovegansfreedom.com, find the video that I will post this on YouTube, on the archives. I want you to listen to this, and more important, document yourself. This lady was talking about this documentary. There's so much information out there. There are lawsuits out there. You know, attorneys, before they take a case, they must have some foundation, as much as there are a lot of scumbags attorney out there. But still, there is a science. Medical is being proven. Smart meters, they're bad for your health. And they probably, if you do not know that, and you have symptoms, you may think that you're just sick. So you may go to the doctor. And what the doctor is going to do? It's going to give you more medication. They're not going to fix anything. They're going to make you worse, probably. So that's why I want to share this with you. I really believe it's important. It's an important thing. We must take awareness. We must be proactive. First of all, as you said, don't do that. I wanted to do it because I needed to experiment. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is true. Not because I didn't know it's true, but it's really happening on my skin, on the people that I know that they're here with me. So today was the day that finally they came and they removed it. But let me tell you now, let me play this little conversation. Because I tell you, I called UNISOURCE. And normally I'm very nice, I'm polite, I try to smile, I try to joke around. But when it comes to these things, and you play with my life, you play with the people around me, their life, and their health, and our health, I lose all the respect for you. You will see a side of me that normally you never see. And I'm not trying to be a threat here. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to be gentle with you anymore. Okay? And I don't care you just working. You're working for the devil. You're going to listen to me. And don't play that BS over the phone. So anyway, I just played this little phone call. Why I'm doing this? Because I really want you one thing. Do not trust me. Do not trust anything I say. But at least take the time to document yourself. Learn about smart meters. And then if you have symptoms that you think they could be connected to smart meters, investigate and then take action. Take action. I'm not going to tell you do not have the smart meters. No, it's your choice. At least learn. That's what I'm saying. Document yourself. Seriously. At that point, you decide. You're still in control. We have more power than they let us know. Yes, they will charge you a little more, $25 a month, to have the, let's say, analogical meter. Guess what? I think your life is more important than $25 a month. I have also not the answer to that. We need to remind to whoever is in charge of our government to stop these corporations to play with our lives, and they're supposed to charge us nothing about to have the right to have something that is healthy for us. Now, boss, if you don't want to eat poison today, we're going to charge you. But if you want to eat poison, we're going to give you a discount. Screw you. State of Arizona Corporation Commission, you need to act like real for the people. Okay? This is insane. And I'm tired and sick to think the idea that in America, like in Italy, or like, all the countries around there, you have always stuck with one company. Like the mafia. I want to have choices. Maybe UNISOURCE cannot provide a good service as maybe the next company. I want to select 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the market we are allowed to have as choices. Let me play this little phone conversation that I talked a couple of days ago with UNISOURCE. And I wasn't happy. That's okay. You don't need to be happy. But you can listen. And maybe you do the same. You can call too if you want to. More calls out there. And more we will take our rights back. Here we go.
Thank you for holding. My name is Cindy. May I help you today with your UNISOURCE account?
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How about yourself?
Terrible. I'm almost dying here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this is because...
I'm sorry?
Yeah, exactly. You should be sorry. Not you personally, but UNISOURCE should be very sorry. I called yesterday. My name is luca-zanna. I live in Golden Valley. I will give you the address now if you want me to. We can start with that.
Go right ahead.
64 Golden Valley, Arizona. 86413.
Okay.
What else do you need before you find my account so I can tell you exactly what I need here?
All right. I've got your account here. If you would do me a favor, I'm sorry, and your name again is?
Gianluca Zanna.
Okay, Mr. Zanna. Verify for me, if you would, the phone number and the email address, please. Thank you. And we do offer email if that's ever of interest for you.
I don't care.
So how can I help today?
Yeah, very simple. Yesterday I called. I was very polite. We have an emergency here. since you installed these new smart meters, we've been having, even after a week, very serious problem with our health. Now we start to connect the dots. 3 months later or so, we're getting physically ill every time we come into this building, okay, where the smart meter is being installed. We got in nausea, we got in different symptoms that they're really bad. And I asked politely yesterday, I already did the research. I know how many people are suing you guys for this smart meters technology. I asked yesterday to immediately send me somebody to re-put back to the analogical meter, okay? And it wasn't about a conversation or a debate. It was a simple emergency request. Then I received this phone call from this Mr. Ramey, supervisor, who wanted to have a conversation with us. He left a message yesterday, and I called him today back. He's not answering. I don't want to have any conversation with any supervisor. This is not for debate, okay? Now I want to put you officially. I want to put you official on record. Listen to me, ma'am. Okay, right? I'm recording this conversation. This is going to be also on the air. Okay, on the radio station 1340 AM. This is a warning. If I do not get removed this as soon as possible, I will sue the out of you. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All of you.
I will not listen to the language.
I'm sorry. I'm dying here. I'm dying here. I'm dying here because of you. You don't want to listen, I'll sue you too. Okay? You better
now,
put me.
If
give
you're
me
wanting to change the meter, that's perfectly fine.
Fine.
But you do need to speak with the supervisor to set that up.
And then give me a supervisor now, please, because I'm really tired. When somebody's stressed out like this, you should understand, especially after politely. I was very polite yesterday. This is not my fault. You should blame it on the supervisor if you want me to. Because I asked politely yesterday, send me somebody for replacement. And now I'm having this conversation and this phone tag with the supervisor. Maybe he's having a coffee now while I'm dying here. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. I'm sure you understand. If you were in my situation, sick as we're getting here, since this smart meter has been installed, I'm sure you would be like this too. If it was your son or your daughter, I'm sure you will be like this too. Now, please, get me a supervisor. And it's nothing against you. You're doing your job. I understand that. But I need to talk to somebody to remove the smart meter as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get Remy for you. One moment, please.
I'm on hold with UNISOURCE, and I'm trying to remove the smart meter out of my life. Since they installed it 4 months ago, in this household, everybody's been sick. All the symptoms you can imagine, you can find also online. Hello? And by the way, there are many lawsuits out there. This is not just an opinion. It's scientifically proven that smart meters can really mess your health, be dangerous to your health, not just to your brain, and stress you out. So, sorry sometimes I lose a little bit.
I haven't forgotten you. Hold on for me just a bit longer, please.
Thank you. I'm here. Unfortunately, that's what they want you to do, because they just hope you go away. I mean, yesterday I called. I was very polite. I said, please remove the smart meter. It's my right. That's why also they charge me an extra $25 a month. It is not like it's doing me a favor. And then I received this phone call in the afternoon from this supervisor. They wanted to have a conversation. Wanted to give me more information about it. Like he's trying to do some pitch sale. You know what? There is nothing to pitch. By the way, this boss is not even at work today. Or if he's at work, doesn't answer. 2 phone calls, 2 messages left. Meanwhile, I'm here freaking having all the symptoms out of the book since I walk into this metal building that supposedly, used to be fine before they installed this smart meter. Now I feel nausea, I feel irritated, I feel stressed out. Anyway, regardless, it's my right. You may believe it or not, I don't care. I do not want this freaking smart meter. How does it sound that? Okay? So I'm waiting patiently. Let's see when they're going to come. And let's see what type of other, BS the supervisor's going to give me. I remember when I let them in my property, walk into my property to remove the old analogical meter, they gave me, say, you have the option smart or stupid. I go for the stupid meter. Fine with me. And charge me $25. Even I think it's illegal. Because, by the way, this is complete fascism. You don't give me even the opportunity to have competition. This is blame it on the state. We get stuck with one company, like the UNISOURCE in this case, that you pretty much try to tell us, or you do this or you jump. Okay, so screw you. At least I can tell you that. And if you feel offended, I'm sorry when you listen to this message. I tell you screw you twice. You know, at least since I'm paying for your freaking salary.
All right, Mr. Zanna,
Yes.
I got it ring me for you. I'm going to go ahead and put you through.
Yes, UNISOURCE. Yeah. UNISOURCE. Okay, it's a UNISOURCE. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is. Sorry if I made a mistake. UNISOURCE.
Hello, Mr. Zanna.
Yes, good morning, sir. What's your name?
Good morning, Mr. Zanna. Thank you for, I got your message, sir, but I was just needing a few minutes to call you back, is all. So thank you for calling us. My name again is Ramey.
Yes.
I am a supervisor here with UNISOURCE Electric. I had called you because we did receive your request for opting out of the digital meter we have there, because you're saying you need to get it out of there as soon as possible. So I know that Susan had informed you about the $26 a month meter read fee, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But the other thing I wanted to also inform you of is currently right now you have a digital meter, and in order for us to exchange that meter to an analog type meter, there is also an additional $47 fee associated with that. It's a one-time fee to exchange the meter as well.
Fine.
So I wanted to give you that heads up before I put the order in. I didn't want to surprise you
That's
on
fine.
your bill when the fee came on the bill.
That's fine.
Okay. And then did she give you information to send us? I'll go ahead and start this process for you right now, so don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of it for you as soon as possible. But we would also like to get a letter, an official opt-out letter from you.
Fine.
Did she give you that information?
No, please send me the letter.
Okay, I'll send you a letter, sir. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It'll give you some instructions
right.
on what to send back to us.
Okay. Now,
okay.
Everything, when is supposed to be happening, all this, just to have an idea?
Well, typically, the meter exchange will occur within 2 weeks, typically. But I will press and express the urgency of trying to get this exchange as soon as possible. I unfortunately can't give you an exact date on when, but I will ask that I can have them give you a call to give you a time frame.
Okay. Let me just, I'm trying to really, you're doing your job, and I appreciate it, by the way. But let me just give you an idea of what's going on here, okay? So at least you understand. And this is not just me, by the way. I've been talking with other people, too. Probably you will receive some phone calls. Whoever came out with this idea of the smart meter, maybe they did not understand, or maybe they just underestimated that there may be, and I say maybe because at that point we will see in court of law how it works this, some really serious side effect for the health, okay? Because it's been documented right now. You can see also, check it out, there are already many lawsuits and people that are really getting sick, and the symptoms are pretty much black and white, okay? We have people here in this household that really, we are ready to go to the hospital because there's nausea and there are symptoms that they're really, it all started since the smart meter was installed. Every day, it's a painful day. Today is March the 7th, 2017. I'll put on notice UNISOURCE, and you are the one, let them know. Everything happens worse from today. I will add this to the medical expenses that we're going to incur, okay? Just to let you know. So please, do this, put an extra note, PS. We are getting sick, and this is going to be part, if I get worse, it's going to be on the UNISOURCE legal fee bills, okay? This is not a threat. This is nothing against you. It's just exactly what I'm going to do. Because we are sick and tired, and I'm telling you, you know what? Remove, that's fine. You want to charge me $47, fine. It is my fault, because I knew it before. I should never let your people come here to change anything. We were doing fine. We were doing great before this change to this whatever smart meter. My health and other people's health in this household decided to go down the drain since this was installed. We will see now if there was a coincidence or not. Meanwhile, please, put an extra note. Mr. Zanna not only is kind of irritated to pay this extra fee, forget about that. Every day pass by and I get sicker, it's going to get worse for UNISOURCE. Let them know. Let me know whenever you got any news. You got my number, and I appreciate it.
Have a good day, Mr. Zanna.
Thank you, sir. All right. That was UNISOURCE. Okay? Simple as that. Unfortunately, that's the only way you can talk to these people. Because 2 weeks after you told them that it is an emergency, people are getting sick, people are having nausea, and you want to look at the symptoms, you can go now online, and I'll tell you some of the symptoms. By the way, there are many people with lawsuits, lawyers involved. Why? Because it's scientifically proven this is real. I'm not a doctor. All I can tell you, though, I was doing fine before the smart meter was installed.
It is that time again. 1776, the organic coffee to brew a revolution. Brought to you by Zanna Coffee. 1776 is the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans blend from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Get 1776 at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. Life is too short. 1776.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration. Chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499. Made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Trade on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port Don't Trade on Us for just $499. go to www.freedomrifle.com. www.freedomrifle.com. Get your freedom rifle now.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Second hour, the hour about guns. Okay, this is a great hour, by the way, because not only we talk about guns, gun rights, and of course training idea, gun safety classes, and all these beautiful things, but also I like to connect with people like you who love guns. And I tell you, I got my little YouTube channel that I post also the show, and I start to find more and more interesting listeners that also listen to my show through YouTube. And what I like that, they're really listening. And somehow they give me opinions, input. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes you can do better. And I like that. And, when I find also somebody that not only listens to my show, but also is a former immigrant, or is still an immigrant because he's still getting through, this process. But the point is here to become an American. And also he was from Italy like myself and he loves guns. Well, that's a great opportunity to have him on the show. And I like to meet him in person, or at least over the radio. His name is Fabrizio. He's from Illinois, and his YouTube channel is called Eltenda. And I'll tell you more what it means. Fabrizio, are you there?
Yeah, what's happening? How you doing?
Good to meet you. First of all, thank you. How did you find about me? Because, I'm always wondering. I am here broadcasting on the internet on the radio. The station is in, Mojave County, California, tri-state area, Nevada, but it's not that close to where you live. How did you find about me?
Actually, initially, I think was a video, some kind of rant about some political stuff. I don't even recall it exactly, the exact video.
Okay.
And I was actually interested. And then I scrolled to your video and I saw your business, with the R-15, don't trade on me the package, your rifle. It was interesting, so I started looking on the video. And I don't listen a lot of podcasts, but lately I was doing some little project inside the house, and I decided to listen to your latest video, and I found them really interesting, especially one you were talking with a lady recently, and it was about, among many subjects, there was also immigration and other stuff, which I'm directly touched and interested. So that's pretty much the reason why. And also the fact now you're American, but you are from Italy like me, and it's a cool thing because I like to connect with people and move over here and share our,
very good
heritage.
Well, I'm glad you found me. I appreciate that. That's great. I like always to meet people like you myself. Now, question: exactly which part of Italy you were from? People think Italy, but it's it's not as big as America, but we have different parts of Italy with different accents, different dialects.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you from exactly?
Different languages, because the Italian call them dialects, and then every region call them their dialected language, which is funny. But anyway, I'm from Venice.
Venezia. Beautiful Venice. I've been there a couple of times. I really like it. All right, I'm just curious because everybody has their story. Of course, you don't need to go into details, but why did you leave Italy? I have my story. What is your story? Why did you want to come to America? What was your goal or your dream?
Well, I met my wife on what used to be MySpace, okay? Uh-huh. And we were in contact for a couple of years. We share same interests, tattoos and music, travels, readings, books, art. She's an artist, so. And we were talking for a while, and then unfortunately, like most of the Italians, we lost our jobs. And back in 2009, they closed down Porto Marghera, which is a big chemical factory zone located close to Venice. They closed down pretty much everything. As you know, when you're close to 40 for the Italian job market, you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
You can't get a job.
Yeah.
So, but I was getting my employment, and I decided to, I never been to the United States, and I always liked the United States. I like their, freedom and their way to do life, the way of life, their, all this thing with the amendments and, and all that come with that. Yeah. And I decided to come over here and visit. And I, of course, I fell in love with my life. Well, my wife, sorry. And I come back here several times. And then, we decided that, to me, there was nothing much going on over there and a new life over here.
Wow, interesting. So, how many years ago did you come? Like a few years ago? Just to have an idea.
The first time, the first 5 times I was already mostly like a tourist, 1 or 2 months,
Yeah.
And spend time with my wife and then know each other, meet the family, and know better the American society, look around for jobs.
Yeah.
Job opportunity. And then I moved over here definitively in 2011.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be 6 years in March, pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Very interesting. Everybody's their journey. It's very interesting. Now, how did you get, I know you have a YouTube channel that is very much into guns. Why, in Italy, you were also into guns. Normally in Italy it's not that easy to be into guns because, first of all, you need a lot of permits. It's not a right, as you know, and you have to go to restrictions. And on top, costs a lot of money. Even just to belong to a club and, it's not exactly easy like here. How did you get into guns, and when did you start your gun culture? Did you start in Italy? Did you do military service, or I don't know, maybe your family?
That goes. Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, all my family served during World War II, World War I, and that been said like that. And so, my passion for history and military weapons and tanks, airplanes, and stuff like that. I always been a kid that used to play with Green Army men more than other stuff. And because my grandfather bought me and teach me a bunch of stuff about Italian history during World War II, World War I, and he bought me a bunch of books, and I was pretty good at it. And I always like this stuff. And then I grew up during Cold War, the Cold War era, and then we grew up watching, remember Rambo and all these movies. And then there were publication called Red Dawn, there were publication called Commando. There was a magazine used to come in a newsstand. I used to buy every week, and I always, no guns in general, like weapons, history and militaria, collectible. And with that being said, when I grow up, I start playing airsoft or soft air in Italy, which is kind of cool.
Are you there? I'm losing you. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Good. So
like I said, then I was saying, then I grew up and I started playing airsoft when I was a kid, soft air, they call it in Italy, which is similar to military training. And then I serviced also 1 year in the army, which everyone has to do in Italy, technically. You draft, pretty much.
Okay.
I said it with I think it was a good thing, because I think you come back, you leave your city, your home, like a little kid, and you come back, you're a man, if you ask me. My opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, of course. That's good. A question, when did you go to at the time, I think, did you have like a military service, like mandatory, or because I know when it was my time, it was mandatory. What was your time? Was mandatory still? I
got the Italian Mythica Cartolina, that's what we call it in Italy.
Yes, I remember that, yep.
Yeah. And I got drafted, and 1 year, in 92, between 92 and 93. And then I actually had the chance to, they let you pick up your unit if you want to. And I actually request anti-tank units or artillery, something like that. But that being said, they sent me to basic training, and then I've been sent to the border with Yugoslavia, where there used to be Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
And I service over there in a unit that's called, actually an old historical unit, Cacciatori delle Alpi, which is a unit that comes from Garibaldi.
Wow.
Too much.
And question, what was your rifle, that the official rifle that you had, you were given and you had to train with, or at least had to do your service with? What rifle did you have at the time?
Well, my main gun was actually an old Navy gun they took from a ship and they put it in a bunker, whatever they say here. Wow. And that was defending pretty much the border. We have machine guns and everything.
Yeah.
The issue gun, and sorry about that. And then that was our basic training rifle, So that it's an interesting gun, if you're able to use the right way, you can probably reach a fair distance, but and the meantime, other people have the BM59, which is pretty much the Italian M40.
Okay.
Roughly.
What caliber did you have? With your rifle, what was the caliber?
7.62 by 51, which is a pretty effective caliber.
Yeah, so it's like a civilian 308, correct?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's not a lot of gun, but there's a bunch of good rifle based on that platform.
Well, I like, honestly, for me, it's one of the best caliber as a real rifle, battlefield rifle, 7.62 by 51. I mean, that's a NATO standard for rifle. And, on things and also on, of course, on flash, probably is the best cartridges. Of course, they're a little heavier bullets. I mean, it's different concept, different from the 5.56 or 223 Remington. That's normally just for closer distances and, of course, just mostly on flash. But, there is always, depends what type of purpose you need to do. So excellent. So you finish your military service, you came back home, and, from there, that the Italian reality or gun ownership sucks. It's not exactly like here in America. I mean, maybe in Chicago it probably sucks there too. But still, on the Bill of Rights, we have the right as Americans to keep and bear arms. In Italy, there is not that right. It's just a privilege. When did you start to get into guns when you came back to it? I mean, did you start to buy some guns?
Now, when I was in Italy, I never actually, due to my family too, they're a little bit against guns, so I never actually looking to purchase a gun. I had a friend in the gun business, the gun shop in Turin, a good friend of mine. Yeah. And we still working together, collaborating together. And but I never actually purchased a real gun in Italy. I just had airsoft gun, which are replicas. When I moved over here, I telling the truth, the first thing I want to get after I met some American was the FOID card, which is a FOID card. It's pretty much, documents that you need for purchase ammo or buy a gun. But you have to be an American resident, you have to be a resident in your state in order to have this card. And I was looking to get one even before getting a driver's license. To give you the idea how much I want to,
Yeah.
So now, like guns.
Now, you are a legal resident. Correct me if I'm wrong, and that means that you are allowed to buy guns even if you're not a citizen yet. Am I right or wrong? I remember that.
Everybody can do that in Illinois as long as you're a resident. As long you're, correct. As long you're a resident, as long you're not a felon.
Exactly. And, as a legal resident, with a green card, you still can buy guns, And, I'm just curious, for example, what is your rifle of choice? What is your favorite rifle that you can buy as an American, or at least as a person that, you're in the process of becoming an American and you like rifles? What is your favorite rifle that you like?
Well, let's specify this first of all, okay? Based on where I live or where I used to live, there were some kind of restrictions before, okay? Before. Yeah. Now I live in a free part of Illinois, okay? Yeah. Free between slashes, okay? So Cook County is close to Chicago, has a ridiculous amount of restriction. Yeah. Lake County, which where I live, it's more free, okay? So, and that being said, I have several preferred guns. I work for an AR company, and so I cannot tend to I have several of them, a couple of them, but I don't enjoy them too much because I use them every day at work, and I play with them every day at work, so I get a little bit bored.
Okay.
So my preferred weapons always been Eastern Bloc stuff, okay? They've been said like AKs and SKSs and so on like that. But I know a couple of people in the gun industries, several people, due to the YouTube channel, that helps. And there's actually a local company that makes AKs already, a custom AKs. We are talking about a $2,000 AK, so it's not like a cheap Russian AK.
Yeah, that's much more expensive than M1, M14 or M1A, Pretty amazing. Question. Tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel, because I watch your videos. You have a lot of interesting things you talk about. First of all, what is exactly the name of the YouTube channel? And tell me exactly what you talk about on this YouTube channel.
Sure. The channel is called Eltenda's channel. And feel free to share the link if you want to.
Yeah, of course. I will put it online too. Eltenda. By the way, translation from English, from Italian, what means? Tell them what means. Eltenda.
It's Venetian. So it's been said means la tenda in Italian.
Yeah.
It means because during an airsoft game or software game, whatever you want to call it, one of my teammates couldn't remember my name.
Yeah.
And due to the fact that I used to work in a camping place, it's like that guy that worked in a camping, that guy. Eltenda, and then where the name come from.
Yeah.
So, and then I use it for my software, let's call it, history between slashes, because I play airsoft for almost 10 years. And I used to write articles for magazines. I was a couple of international web forum or community about airsoft, and I was helping editing video and doing stuff like that and pictures. Anyway, so I decided to open a channel mostly because when I moved over here, as you know, as people don't know, for a couple of months, I was going to say something in Italian, but it's difficult to translate.
Try. I can help you out a bit. Try. If you want to take Italian, that's fine.
I mean, it's a Venetian thing. Is when you go fishing, you take the seafood and you put it in a bucket with regular water, and the seafood starts to spit all the dust, all the sand. We call it purga in Italian, okay?
Okay.
So, that being said, for a couple of months, almost a year actually, I couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
Because you're new. That's why when you come over here, they want you to come with a visa, fiancé visa, because they want to be sure that your girlfriend and your wife, and the family can actually provide you, money for whatever you need.
Yeah.
Anyway, but for a good year, I wasn't able to get a job, so I was home, and bored. I was fixing the album. I was bored, so I started looking YouTube, and I'm like looking for gas, and I'm looking, holy moly, I'm like, it's amazing. Look at America, the different, looking to Italy and America, the culture, people doing video and showing their guns like proudly. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So I started watching, I think the first channel was Soch, and then was Iraqi veteran, or big YouTube channel,
Yeah.
And I started learning from them how to disassemble guns, how to clean guns, how to maintain them, how to tune them. And there was also video about prepping, if you're, and stuff like that. So I've always been in that stuff too, survival and stuff like that, because, you have to be, to me, in my opinion, be ready for kind of emergency,
Yeah.
So, and then I started, I can start doing this stuff too. And of course, my first video are really, bad quality, and I try to do my best right now. I don't have a big budget. I only have 1,200 subscribers, so.
No, but you're doing great. I mean, that's the way you start, and it's great because, as I said, first of all, I think you got great information, and you really try to be fair because, it's like really your honest opinion on things. I like that. You try just to give your what you really think. For example, I didn't watch this yet, but you have one of the latest video is about a handgun called the Canik or Canik. What you can tell me about this gun? Because it's something I never shot it, but I heard that it's pretty affordable. I think it's a Turkish gun. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's kind of almost in competition with the Glock, but for a better price. What do you think about this gun? Did you shoot it yourself? What is your opinion?
I tried the Canik. I tried the first one, which is the TP9 SF, which is now that one specifically is actually around $255 right now. So it went down with the price.
Wow!
Due to the fact it's a really good gun. I mean, due to the fact they come out with a new one. I purchased the new one, which had and is still having some little issues, which is a common problem with the new gun. Even when Glock come out at the beginning, I'm assuming any gun when it come out at the beginning, they all had a little tweaks they gotta fix, Even the M16 when it come out in the 60s have some problem.
And what is the issue? What type of issue do you find?
Mine is a weak ejection, which is not an issue to me. Some people are complaining about it. I don't think it's an issue to me. But some people are complaining because the ejection is a little weak, which to me is like, all right, whatever. So, I mean, I'm not a gun expert, so I don't think it's a big issue to me. But some other people were having problem with the extractions, which is a big issue. That's the problem.
Exactly. I mean, that's the problem. You're going to start to have stoppages, and that's not good, especially in a defensive gun. Okay. So anyway, what do you think now?
Gotta think about that gun. Sorry.
No, I say, what do you think? It's something that, people say, okay, it's really cheap, but then, honestly, I wouldn't like to put my life in a gun that shoots only when it feels like it, okay? I don't care how cheap it is.
Absolutely. That, like I was telling you, if I was going to put my life, I'd probably go on the previous one, which has a trigger a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. The newer one has a better trigger and everything, but they're still fixing it. They're talking about changing the recoil spring on the road, which is not a big thing, you know. It's $5, you know. But and also you got to think about one thing is that, as you said, it's a Turkish gun, okay?
Yeah.
With NATO specs. As you know, the 9mm NATO is not 115 grain; it's 124.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So now, from what I heard, the Centurion, which is the importer of the Canik, they call over here some technician from Turkey, and they find out that the only way to resolve this issue is with swapping up the recoil springs. That being said, mine works fine. As far accuracy is really accurate gun.
Yeah.
The sights are really, aesthetically, is a really nice looking gun. You gotta learn how to handle it, because, you know, as all the slider release button, you gotta be careful when you hold it. It's like a 1911 with a, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful when you hold it, because if your thumb touch the slider release, it won't lock back with the last round. But that's not a gun problem, it's a user problem, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, it's affordable, for sure, but what do you think about comparing to a Glock? Let's say Glock 17 with this Canik. Is something that you will still think that maybe it's worth to save the money, or would you go, if it was one gun only that you have to own, would you...
That's when I recommend somebody buy a gun, okay, they ask me about Glocks, I always tell them, okay, Glocks is, I would pick up a Glock if I was going to the sandbox, how they call it, you know, overseas and doing some kind of jobs over there, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't like the aesthetic of the Glock, just me, but I love the fact it's a reliable gun. It's a gun that always works, you know, aesthetically. That's the only thing. I'm Italian, you know how Italian things.
Yeah.
We like nice stuff. I like 1911s, for example.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, gorgeous gun. But other than that, being said, of course, a Glock is always better. Well, right now, if you can up for $600 for a Glock, you can go and buy the previous Canik, which has been tested from, you can go online and look up videos, TP9 SF, not Elite, just SF. There's 1,000 people that shoot like 3,000 rounds without cleaning the gun or anything.
Wow.
So, you know, that being said, it's an impressive gun. You know, it's like AKs, you know.
And how much cost this, let's say, top of the line Canik?
The top of the one I have, I think retail is around $400, and they make one with the barrel suppressed, ready for suppressor, and more like a competition design. So it holds more round. It's like a slick looking gun. I think James Yeager did a review of it recently. That one specifically is $500.
Wow, okay.
Because it's more fancy flashes, you know.
Interesting.
But, you know.
I see you got it on your Facebook too. I was looking at you know, when you clean it and you know, disassemble. Magazine, what type of magazine do they use? Is standard magazine just for Canik, or you have magazine that would maybe fit from other guns? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. I gotta find out. They look like CZ style magazines, you know, the double stack CZ. I believe they're made by Medgar, which is an Italian company.
Yeah. And my question, you know, if it is something just for Canik, you know, I always like magazines that, for example, they could be popular. Like, for example, I like Glock magazine because, you know, you can find them everywhere. And you can also find aftermarket magazines for very cheap money, you know, very affordable. And then, of course, you know, use them mostly for training. But then when you start to get with the unique guns, you want to be sure that you can always buy extra magazines, you know, because the problem that they give you probably what, 2 magazines with a gun or 1? How many do they give you?
2 magazine cleaning kit, holster, which is kind of not a fan. But the thing I know for sure, this my old 16 round, okay?
Yeah.
The previous one was 20 round. You can use the 20 round magazine of the previous gun on the 16 if you want to.
Yeah.
So that being said, I mean that's something you can shoot it anyway, you know, even if it's sticking out, if you don't care. But they said the magazine they were saying they're easy to find because they're starting importing them like in a bigger number, and they run for I do believe $22, $25 for a magazine.
Not bad. They're comparable to a Glock. They are not bad the price, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
That's good.
It's an gun. I mean, I saw some. I never had a double stack one. I even for concealed carry, which I have a permit.
Wow.
I always carry a single stack gun, which was a shield. Which to me, due to an accident I had with my hand, my right hand, I couldn't shoot it. The trigger is too hard to me. So I used to jerk the trigger, as they say in gun terminology.
Yes.
So I used to, you know. And so I have to find something with a better trigger. And even some basic Glocks, they don't have, that amazing trigger. So, and I tried the Canik SHOT Show, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And they make me an offer. I got a friend who works for Century Arm. I promised him to do a review, which I did. Yeah. And I do a better one. And I tell the truth too. I told them about the weak ejection. I started testing and feedback.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I decided to go for this one. And there's many guns that I would like to purchase. I mean, I love them. I mean, it's a lot. I'm passionate about them. And here, every time you go at the gun store, it's like going to Disneyland,
Yeah,
look around.
but there is also an expression, Fabrizio, there's also an expression, be careful of the man or the woman, doesn't matter, who owns one gun only, because he may know how to use it, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of guns in the safe that I like to take a look, once in a while bring them to the range, just to let them move a little bit. But at the end, the way I train with one gun. I chose one gun, I will train with that gun. I know that that's going to be the holster. It's going to be always located in the same position. And I know that gun is going to be the gun. The problem when you start to change every time different systems. Let's say today you carry a Beretta, 92. And tomorrow you carry a Glock. And then you go back to, I don't know, it's a 1911. Your body's going to go crazy. And, especially when you start to be under stress. And you don't have the time to think, what am I carrying today? No, you have a split second to hopefully move and, introduce the gun into a fight and don't even think anymore. If you have a safety or not, whatever you train, you need to stick with one. So I tell you, no matter what gun you have, the important thing, the gun works, that you like it, works for your anatomy, for your body, for your finger, like you were saying. And more important, that's the gun that you will muscle memory, memorize, become instinctive, like a part of your body. And that's really what it matters at the end, But,
absolutely.
Question. In Illinois, I know every state has different laws, especially, for example, New Jersey, they're kind of out of control. You cannot even have any more hollow point. Of course, here in Arizona, we are kind of spoiled. We can have everything we want. But in Illinois, any restrictions when it comes down to ammunition for self-defense? Can you carry hollow point or not? I'm curious. I don't know.
I carry carbon. I think it's called carbon.
Okay.
I do 9mm, which is hollow point. And actually, it's a good thing if you ask me, because it prevents shooting. By any chance, God, I always hope it never happens.
Yeah.
If you have, use your gun, you don't shoot the guy behind you too. No, the bullet doesn't go through one guy and kill the one behind, which might happen, unfortunately. Or if you're inside your house, that in America they got the freaking drywalls.
Yeah. It's just like plastic. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. It's a piece of paper. And, and the question is, of course, politicians don't care, because after all, their bodyguards or police who's defending them, like in New Jersey, they have the good ammo, the self-defensive ammo, hollow point. But for us, the slaves, they always think, to give us the last things. And by the way, don't get me wrong, even full metal jacket, if it's good quality, can have a purpose, I was talking about this also during the CCW classes, especially in places like where you live, when it's very cold, like Illinois, that you got cold winters, and normally people, they wear a lot of clothing, jackets, sweaters, things like that. It is good to have also a round that eventually you could have as a backup when you have situations. For example, if I shoot hollow point through a lot of sweaters and jacket, and maybe a leather jacket, when it's very cold weather, it may not have the same type of penetration that you need. And sometimes even a full metal jacket could be, let's say, helpful, even with the limitations, of course, because it does not expand like an hollow point. But that's the story. People, I wish everybody would be able to carry everything that law enforcement is able to carry. Every law-abiding citizen should be able to carry. That's normally what I say to the CCW classes. Question: when you do, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was finished your question. I mean, as far as restriction, here is in Italy we call it a macchia di leopardo. So it's a little bit weird. So in Cook County, especially in 2013, they have the chance, every city has the chance to have a city council or meeting and vote about gun bans, okay?
Yeah.
That was the last throw they had except for state-wise, okay, so that based on, or national-wise. But so anyway, every city has to change the chance to vote for. So, for example, I used to live in Palatine, which Palatine has home rules. Yeah. And home rules means that you can have pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
The city after me was called Buffalo Grove. That was between Cook County and Lake County, or another county, I don't remember. So the people living one side, they couldn't have AR-15. The people on the other side, they could.
Wow.
It's stupid.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
one part of the city are a bunch of slaves, the other one they are somehow, you know, they have rights. That's pretty sad. You know, in Arizona we have what is called preemptive state laws. That means no city or municipality or county can write any type of gun laws or restrictions or registration. Everything must go through the state. And of course we have no gun registration here. It's against the law, but that's another story. Question. You know, coming from Italy, like it was for me a cultural shock, especially the opportunity that we have now in America to go to a shop. You know, now you have a CCW. I don't know if it's the same like here in Arizona. In Arizona, when I have a CCW, I can go to a gun shop and I show my Arizona ID and I can buy pretty much any, you know, long gun or handgun. Just show him this ID and this CCW, and there is no more the NICS, the National Calling Service that you call the FBI for the background check. There is no more because I'm already being cleared by the state, and I can buy a gun without waiting, without calling, just like I'm buying a pair of shoes, the way it should be. Do you have the same opportunity when you have a CCW from your state?
No. Oh. The number of the CCW, you have to have a FOID first of all, okay, and then you get a CCW, which it's $500, okay.
What?
And it's it's crazy.
Oh my God! No, say again, $500 for your permit for CCW.
Yeah, yes sir.
And how long? How many centuries last? I'm just curious. How many? 50 years gonna last?
I think it's expired. It's going to expire in 2000. I gotta look on it. I don't remember. I think it's maybe 10 years. I'm not sure about it.
Wow.
That's
talking about rights. Well, let's say somebody, has no money. You have no rights. This is not a right. It's a privilege. That's scary. My gosh.
Yeah, they're doing purpose. And the governor of Illinois, it closed down the FOID office, the, federal owner, firearm owner, whatever they call it, FOID. Anyway, they closed the office. So the only way to finance the office was overcharge the people for the concealed carry.
Yeah.
Because the number of the new concealed carry permit number match with your FOID card number. Okay.
Wow.
So it's the same thing. So if you go purchase a gun, you have to have your FOID card. You can't use your permit, even if it's the same number. Most of the people don't know what it is or it looks like a concealed carry permit, so they might get confused. If you go Walmart, they look like it from Mars if you show them your concealed carry permit. They want to see that.
Wow, interesting. Well, here it's a little different. For example, first of all, we do not need really to have a CCW. It's something we can, if we want to, and of course it's a shell state. The state must give it to us. And the only reason why, honestly, I always say to get it, of course, I also teach CCW classes, because there are a lot of benefits. For example, first of all, the education part, you know the laws. You can have here what is called constitutional carry. We can carry any handgun concealed, or you need to be over 21, a law-abiding person with no criminal record or domestic violence, and you can carry the gun like you carry I don't know, let's say you can carry a pack of cigarettes, okay, or whatever you like. So that's pretty nice. But at the same time, I always say there are some benefits, and the benefit, of course, is the knowledge. Especially if you go through good classes, you learn a lot of important things. But also, of course, we have benefits. We can go to a restaurant or any establishment where, for example, alcohol is served, like wine, beer, whatever, and you can have your gun in that place, in that establishment where the alcohol is served. You cannot drink. The gun must be concealed, but still, at least you have the chance to carry the gun with you. You don't need to leave in the car. But more important, I tell you, what I like, you can go to a shop, show me your ID, Arizona ID, show him your CCW, and you can get the gun out of the shop immediately without any background check. That's amazing. So I'm, set to, and it's pretty affordable.
I think
$60. We pay $60 for 5 years. That's not bad at all. Even, of course, always too much.
No, absolutely not. Now here is different. You gotta go to the shop. They gotta fill up the form, the 40, whatever they call it, the form.
Yes.
Anyway, you gotta fill up the form. You gotta put your info, which for me as resident is different than an American, of course.
Yeah.
I gotta give you a copy of my green card, a copy of my ID, a copy of my FOID card.
Yeah.
And they do the background check, which I think takes 2 minutes. They can have an answer right away if they want to, by the way. But they do the cooling, they do the cooling period. So they let you wait for 1 day.
1 day.
For a pistol, I think is. 1 day for a rifle, and 3 days for 1 day for a rifle, and 3 days for a pistol.
Well,
you gotta wait for. If you buy a lower, 3 days too.
Wow.
Buy a lower for an AR-15. Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting.
And the funny thing with the FOI card, they found out that people with felonies that still have the FOI card. So the system is not even working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's stupid. So it's like me with going from one subject to the other one. It's like when I applied for the citizenship, they asked me again my biometrics.
Yeah.
Which they took mine three or four times already, because with the green card, then at the airport, and then the passport. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the system. So it's ridiculous. Anyway, go back to the gun. I mean, it's, even if you have a CCW here, there's so many restrictions, then you can probably carry, you can count on your fingers where you can carry your gun.
Really? Give me some example. Can you go to Walmart?
Walmart, Sears, and other shop. The other shop, Home Depot, there's no signs, you can go inside.
Wow.
And the sign has to be certainly size, certainly color, and there has to be an M9 Beretta or an M92, whatever you want to call it. If there is a revolver on the sign is no value. There's no value. So you can walk in, worst case scenario, you get a misdemeanor.
Gosh.
Worst case scenario. That being said, you gotta be stupid enough to show your gun.
Yeah. I know.
If you know what I mean.
I know, but let's say somebody sees you for a moment, that, by the way, in states like yours, I'm pretty sure, when they say concealed, must be concealed, and somebody call the cops because they see you with a gun, you may also lose your CCW, your gun rights. You never know. Here, for example, we have open carry. But you guys, when you say concealed, must be concealed. What happens if somebody sees you, let's say, for example, walking out of your truck or your car, and there is a little bit of wind, and bang, you got a little bit of a flash or maybe printing of your gun. Somebody's freaking out because, oh my God, he has a gun. Typical people that normally they're always thinking they're only cops, and bad people have guns. They're gonna call the cops. Mm-hmm. And what happened to you when the police arrive? Besides, 10 minutes of fear, probably. They're gonna get your gun.
Well, depend on the situation. It can be a misdemeanor, so they might let you go, and they told you, hey, next time be more careful. If there is a sign on the door, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
If it's a bar, you're serving alcohol, you're gonna have a beer, you can't bring your gun. And I agree with that. If you're drinking,
me too. And I agree. That's why even us, we have this law. We have a law that says you can bring your gun, but the gun must be, let's say, concealed, and you cannot drink. That's pretty much the important thing, So, but anyway, listen, very good.
I respect it, you know what I mean? I work for example, where I work, we can technically open carry between slashes, because it's a gun manufacturer, it's a private property too. So technically in the perimeter of the building you can, but we don't. We conceal anywhere, and we don't want to scare any customer or any, but technically it's a private property. If I go walk my dog, if by any chance I walk close to the park, there is a sign on the park.
Yeah.
So you have to use your gun by any chance, and they find out you were close to the park, you get in trouble more than the guy was attacking.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So parks is you cannot walk at the park with your gun.
Correct.
Wow, that's probably the place that you need the most. You go out that's normally a great place for ambushes. I mean, you want to get ambushed, that you go to the park, I mean, they could think, sometimes, wow.
Mm-hmm. That's why I took recently a class which I strongly recommend if you have one close to you. You probably got one, but any women or men, women mostly. And because there have been a bunch of vulgar women that be attacked at the park when we were jogging over here. And I took a class, they teach you how to self-defense with non-lethal weapons.
And
that being said, a non-lethal weapon can be a knife, which again, you gotta be careful to your local laws, there's limits.
Yeah.
A tactical gun, an umbrella, your hands, some keys, house keys. They teach you how to use your alternative self-defense weapon, so you can prevent between the slashes.
I know,
but the guy.
It is sad, it is sad. I realize, really how good we have it here, and Morris City. I mean, you still like it. You're probably better off than California. Because California, my gosh, it's even deeper. You have to wait, I think, 30 days for a handgun, if I'm not sure. I mean, I forgot. It's like cooling period. It's like ridiculous. And by the way, let me double check. Is your state also, it is not a shell issue, right? I mean, it's always discretion of the police, or is it a shell issue? How does it work with the CCW?
The CCW? You mean CCW? No, you got to take a class.
No, I understand. But the point is, for example, in Arizona, it's called shell issue state. That means government state. It's not like an option. If you fit in the legal requirement, let's say you're over 21, you have no any type of criminal record, you are, is your right. And then you don't need to give him any type of excuses or reasons like, oh my God, please give me the permit because, my wife is, I'm afraid of my husband or my ex-husband. Or any of this stupid reason. You get the gun, period, because it's your right.
As far as gun ownership, let's see if I can explain it. As far as gun ownership, like purchase one, everything, as long as you pass the background check and you're not a felon, you're fine. For the CCW, it's a longer story.
Yeah.
You gotta pass the class, which, no offense to anybody listening, but you gotta be an idiot if you don't pass the our CCW class.
Yeah.
It's really bad. There's basic laws, and they do a little bit of gun handling, which they should do more than that. They should take a class just for that, in my opinion. And they want you to shoot at 3 different distances, okay? And you have to have 70% of the round in the target, not outside. So in other words, they don't want to see you shooting the feet or shooting somebody, like easily, which is a good thing.
No, other than that, and it's really basic. I mean, it really doesn't mean anything because at the end of the day, under stress, these 3-5 yards, they shoot probably from, not even from the holster. I think you shoot probably from the ready position. It is not even real, but at least it's something, honestly. But the problem, my problem is the state of Illinois a shell issue state or not? And for what I'm learning right now, I'm just pretty much seeing that, it is not a shell issue. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's not. It's not.
And that's very important because, you need to go to your local law enforcement chief, police, or sheriff and say, please, can I have the right to defend my life, my family, or whatever you have to defend yourself? And he can say, oh, maybe, tell me one good reason. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be, it's my right,
they don't,
period. Anyway, that's understanding.
They don't put it that way. Like I told you, it's just a matter of show up that you are fine. They want fingerprints and whatever background checks. They take the class. To them, once they give you one, they're fine. You know why?
Yeah.
There's so many restrictions that you won't be able to carry your gun anywhere. That for them that's an answer for you.
Yeah.
That for them is like a safety. They know that you can carry anywhere. You know what I mean? To me, it's fine. I need only my gun, okay, from inside my work, honestly.
I mean, why they get from you $500, these bastards, okay? And I'm talking to them. That's pretty, it's me talking, okay, of course. By the way, listen, it's still better than Italy, I think, Italy, that's even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. They're taking all the Porto d'Armi, they call it Italy. They're taking all of them in Italy. Everyone is losing them. Everyone become a privilege in Italy.
Yes.
So, for example, a friend of mine, his father got almost kidnapped for a ransom. That's the reason why they give them a permit. Otherwise, forget about it.
Yeah.
You don't have even, I think they voted recently with the referendum for legitima difesa or self-defense.
Yeah.
They have to vote in Italy for passage. They have to. If somebody come in your house, okay, with a knife, you have a baseball bat, or even, I don't know, a broom, and you hit him in the head, you go to jail.
Gee.
If you close him inside your house, if he's inside your house, you lock him up inside your house, it's like if you were kidnapping him. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Kidnapping. Oh my God. This is so sad, especially now. Yeah, go ahead. Continue, please. Continue. Go ahead.
If you shoot him, his family can sue you. His family can sue you. That happened recently. A friend of mine, a guy entered in the house. He has something in his hand. The guy got robbed 10 times. The wife got almost raped, He took the gun, fucking shoot the guy. Sure enough, the guy didn't have anything in his hand, except for a knife.
Except for a knife.
It was dark in the room.
A knife is bad enough, by the way. A knife, it can be devastating, especially within 21 feet in the house is the perfect weapon, honestly. What the heck? Scary stuff. I left Italy 18 years ago, but my God, I remember it was bad, but this is like to a new level, especially now with the, let's say, refugees and, call them whatever they want to do. It's like an invasion. I mean, I remember when I left Italy, there was the new mafia was the Nigerian mafia, then there was the Russian mafia, the Albanese mafia, prostitution, drugs. I mean, under your home, you have gangs that they pretty much do whatever they want in plain view, and you have to lock yourself up in your home, and there are home invasion after home invasion, and you tell me and remind me that you cannot even defend yourself with a basic in your home. That's sad. Like I said, very sad.
Well, you're from Rome, right?
Yeah.
So it's even worse. You're originally from. It's even worse. Venice never had a big problem.
Yeah.
Big problem with criminals, never, except for little drugs, little here and there, little gang. And the big thing was Padova, Treviso, or big city with big immigration for some reason, especially North African, with drugs and, marijuana and stuff like that. And, lately, I come back in Italy 3 times in 6 years, 22 years roughly, I was back over there. And every year, it's even worse.
Yeah.
The last time, I almost reached for I didn't have a gun. Let's say I didn't have a gun. But my muscle memory almost reached for a gun. Because due to my concealed carry permit over here, the guy was getting a little thing out, a police car drive by.
Wow.
They were kind of, in English, corner, okay? I was saying English, corner us. You put in a corner to rob or something. And I was with my wife. We don't have any self-defense, no knife, nothing. Just my fist.
Very sad.
If they use my fist, I'll probably go in jail.
Very sad, very sad, very sad, And, these politicians, meanwhile, in Italy, they have all bodyguards and police and the escort. I mean, it is completely like, it's almost back to the time of, nothing really changed since the time of the Middle Ages when there were the lords, the kings, and the slaves, After all, we slaves, we must have no right to defend ourselves or our homes or our lives. But the lords, in this case, they're just, elected, but still, they're still lords because once they get in, they never get out anyway. And their salaries and their lifestyle is completely different from the average Italian. I mean, and then, of course, they say, no, we cannot have a gun, but they have all the guns they want to defend themselves, paid by our tax dollar. I mean, your tax dollar or their tax dollar. I never really paid any dollar anyway to these bastards anyway. Wow.
Well, they got some, I don't know, and apologize. I don't know all the exact laws because they keep changing them, first of all.
Yeah.
But I hear stuff from a friend that has a gun shop, so we talk about this stuff. I know they got limit on how many ammo you can own, not by gun, total, including gunpowder. So the equal gunpowder to guns, to ammunition, sorry. And they got a limited number you can have. I think don't call me on that. Let's put a number, okay? 13 rifles total between hunting, sporting use, like 3-gun stuff, which is really popular in Italy. It's more like an excuse for have a gun, but I didn't say that. But, and surplus gun, old gun, like Mauser, Naga, M1. So the only good thing about Italy, which is sad, they can get AKs, for example, which I'm big passionate. In America, in a 70%, they come over here chopped. Okay, they cut the receiver. They come from a rush because of the 922 compliant.
Yeah.
They cut the receiver. They remove the particle. They use American part. They rebuild them, which sometimes they do a bad job. But in Italy, they get them directly for the arsenal, from Chinese arsenal, from Eastern Europe, whatever is left in Bulgaria, Poland. They can import them directly, so which is a good thing. But they can only have. Some friends will tell me, depending on the model of rifle, you can have a 10-round magazine, or, depending on model, again, I don't know the difference, you can have a 30-round magazine pinned.
Yeah.
Means there is a pin inside that limits your magazine to 29 rounds instead of 30.
That's so stupid.
If you have a 30-round magazine, you're a felon. If you have 29, you're fine.
Wow. But like California, I mean, like New York, like New Jersey, I mean, the problem that I'm not surprised with Italy, because in Italy, like in Europe, the reality that people never had the right. They were never had, blessed by the Bill of Rights, these unalienable rights. They always had privileges. I mean, if you look at the Roman Empire, there was their emperors, then there were, of course, the nobles. They had their right to, and to be armed. And then the slaves, they never were allowed to have arms. And then, of course, you continue with the popes and the different kings. The men kings have the right to have weapons and guns, the soldiers, but never the slaves. All they gave them was a pitchfork. So that's unfortunately the European reality. And now, of course, what did it change? Really nothing. The point is, before it was, by birth, now it's just by corruption that you get elected or selected. That's the way it works. But I'm very saddened because, what we are facing, I feel sorry for our fellows, brothers and sisters in Europe, or not just in Italy. Look in Denmark, in Germany, in Sweden, what they are facing with this violence, especially their women, being raped. I mean, Sweden now it's the number one capital of rape in Europe, and this government, corrupted government, what do? They castrate the good people of their country, and they completely enable this scum. And this is me talking, of course, because you say this stuff in Europe, you're going to get fined and maybe even arrested. And I can say again, you scum politicians, Italian politicians, German politicians, you all paid off by this globalist New World Order pieces of crap to destroy the identity. And one thing I would like to talk, even this is not the topic, not the hour, the Kalergi plan. The Kalergi plan, go Google it. It was a long-term plan, long time ago, to destroy the sovereignty of each European nation and to create a new race. There's something to learn. It's something that, what's happening right now in Europe, it is not an accident. It's happening by long-term plan. Anyway.
Absolutely. You think about all people living like some grandpas and grandmas, they're living with €500 a month.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous, €300 a month. And they got immigrants between slashes. They get food, shelter, clothing, and they got €25 a day, and they got a cell phone, and they complain because they don't have Wi-Fi in the hotel.
Gosh.
And they come from a country, not being racist, I don't care, I'm open to everybody. I mean, I'm an immigrant too. They come a country where their houses are made of mud, okay? And they pretend to, come over here, and over there they get a shelter, they live in, nobody bothering them, they get food, they can get a job eventually, and they complain because they don't have Wi-Fi, and the food is no good.
First of all, the problem is one, I have problem with some people. There are some group of people that their belief is not compatible with a free society. That's where I draw the line. Number one. And I spell it out. If you're a Muslim, if you're a good Muslim, your book sucks. Because your book tells you exactly that what you gotta do to do infidels, or you chop their head, or you charge them a tax called Dima. And the Sharia law does not belong to a free society. So that's their problem, first of all. They don't have compatibility with our social system. Okay, they are from the Middle Ages, for God's sake. Number one. Number two, most of these people, they are no immigrants. You are an immigrant. I was an immigrant. You came here, you followed the process, you didn't jump any fence, you didn't swim, you didn't go through, some sort in the middle of the night, hiding somewhere and jump in the truck. No, you came through a process, starting from an embassy, you got your visa, you waited, and, you paid your fees, and more important, you start to assimilate and try to assimilate. That's an immigrant. These bastards, they're just pure parasite invaders. And this is me talking, luca-zanna. If they're listening to me in Europe, F you. Seriously. Because I know already that in Italy, I wrote a little poem about the former Italian president, Giorgio Napolitano, and somebody, somehow, I was very proud that he got his ears. And, in Italy, we can go to jail just to offend His Majesty, the S-H-O-L-E. That's all I'm saying because I'm on the radio, not because I can tell about him. Listen, we're already out of the hour, man. This is amazing. You got an hour so fast. Give me again, how can people find out about YouTube channel, please?
Sure, no problem. You go look up online. It's called Eltenda's channel. And
spell it out. Spell it out. E-L-T-E-N-D-A. Correct? Eltenda.
Correct. Yeah, with the S and the S at the end, like S.
Tendas. Okay.
And channel, like channel. Eltenda, like you spell it. You can look up Eltenda. They will find eventually video somebody else link it to me or my video. But that's the easiest way.
All right.
And Eltenda, like you spelled it perfectly. And it's feel free everybody to subscribe if you need any answer about guns, and I can help you out. Questions, everyone is welcome.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Hey, thank you, and I appreciate you coming here. And as I said, we need people like you here that we understand what is at stake and what we left. Because sometimes American people they don't realize what they have here. When we come from Europe or places like Italy, you know what? I always say, oh my God, thank you very much that I have the chance to be here and to have rights, not to have any more these privileges and, be bossed around by a bunch of corrupted politicians. And by the way, they try here too, don't get me wrong, but we have the right at least to tell them off. All right, listen, Fabrizio, let me close this one. Guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. Now we will go in the final hour, the hour about love. Great information, great guests as usually. And please, if you want to support this show, do not forget CCW class, azccw.us if you're in Arizona. And also, of course, don't forget the Freedom Rifle. Don't trade on us. And you can go to www.freedomrifle.com. And don't forget Zanna Coffee. Now, for here now, we little break, and we go back exactly in a few minutes in the final hour, the third hour.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on UnitedStates.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on UnitedStates.fm network. This is the hour about love. One of the most beautiful things of this show that I had the opportunity to experience the last 3 years was the opportunity to learn things and facts and beliefs and meet people, incredible people, that probably I would have never had the chance before. Seriously. I mean, it is not just a local show here in the tri-state area. I had a chance to meet listeners that they also became guests from Denmark, Sweden, Germany. I mean, all over the world. And I'm really humble. And I really thank you, by the way. Because as I said, for me, it's an opportunity to learn. Now, I keep my religious belief for myself. I really believe that it's something personal. I don't like to, go out and preach to anybody. I don't believe in preaching because I'm a sinner myself. So what am I doing? But I always like to learn. And in my library, that I have several thousand books, I like to learn everything, every belief. I may sometimes agree with them or not, doesn't matter, but there is always something good to learn. Always. Not always, almost. For example, I have only an exception, and I still read their books. The exception for me when there is a religion out there, or a belief, that wants to use force to coerce others into conversion. I don't care which religion, I have a problem with that. But any other person who believes in something that is respectful to others, I always encourage not just to learn for myself, but also like to share it. And I've been sharing on the air here. You know, I had Sorina from Denmark, emigrated from Denmark to Canada, just, you know, a few weeks ago, either during Christmas time, or Yuli, as she call it. And I think it was beautiful. I really enjoyed, by the way. I started to learn about Asatru, belief, and I tell you, the values, regardless that people may believe in not in their gods, doesn't matter. There's some incredible experience to learn, even from you know, as a value, as a philosophical aspect. I think is an amazing thing. And of course, I have some idiots that I had to block on Facebook that immediately, they don't wait a second to start to come after you, and on top of my Facebook page, to start to preach at me. I'm not a good Christian. Screw you. I tell you again, screw you twice. How dare you, first of all, to tell me what am I? How dare you to tell me what I can read or cannot read and judge me? So, seriously, this is exactly the spirit of the show. It's called Love, Guns, and Freedom. And that's part for me of love and also part of our freedom. So that's why I say, you know, I always invite anybody who has, of course, now this is something that I was expecting a phone call, but I always invite everybody that I can to pretty much talk about anything they want. This is the spirit of the show. Let me see who is calling here. Okay, I think somebody that needs to wait. Anyway, so now let me shut up and let's go straight to the point. I have two incredible guests. By the way, one of them I already had them probably a year ago, because he's not just, let's say, a person into this belief, but also is a great, let's say, survivalist, medical nurse. We will see exactly more into details. ER guy. I mean, somebody that he knows how to fix you in case you have to for emergency situation. But let's go straight to the point. We have Vincent, Enlund, and I have also Chuck Hudson. I think one for sure is from Mesa, Arizona, and Chuck, I think, is from New Mexico. Are you there, guys?
Exactly. That's right.
Good.
I'm ready.
I hope I didn't distort your names. I hope I got you clear. Normally, I'm pretty famous to distort everybody's name. All right, let's start with Chuck. Chuck, remember we had a nice conversation probably about maybe 1 year ago or so regarding your expertise that normally you do as a profession, not only in helping people to feel better in an emergency situation, but also how to teach as survivalists people that normally they're into prepping how to be prepared to. Let's say I have some emergency situation and first aid situation. Remember a little bit what we talk about, who you are as a professional.
Well, yeah, we talked about, I teach emergency alternative survival medicine, making do with what you have to fix whatever you need. We used to call it, in the military, called it a ditch medic. Mm-hmm. Whatever's in the ditch is what you got to work with.
Yeah,
it was a great time we had.
Very exciting. I like your information. And by the way, you put me also in contact with another great lady, Kat Ellis, that hopefully I pronounced it right too.
Oh yeah.
And I had on the show a couple of times. Okay, perfect. Now we go from Chuck, of course, and I was talking now with our other friend that I wanted to ask you from Mesa. What's going on, Vincent? What are you doing there in Mesa, Vincent?
Well, I am a graphic designer.
Okay.
And martial arts instructor. So I spend most of my time on the computer, and then some of my time's in the classroom.
Very good. Now, let's go straight exactly to the point. What is exactly, if you want to identify in wars, what is your belief system? What do you believe and exactly how you call it? I mean, go ahead. I don't want to talk for you, even if I may imagine, but I don't want to guess. Go ahead.
Well, it's, I guess, the term, the more common term, I guess you'd say, is Asatru, which is an Icelandic word, means true to the Aesir. True to the gods. Mm-hmm. Over the last, I'd say, Vince, 20 years, it's changed now to, most of us just call ourselves heathens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does it mean? What does it mean exactly?
That's a really general term that a lot of people have used, because Asatru can be so varied, and heathenry covers a broader, more European kind of sense. A lot of people have gone to that term. Mm-hmm. And it's become very common, not only in Europe, but in the United States as well. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Am I right? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Luca.
I wanted to explain a little bit the term heathen, exactly heathen, what means, if you can give a translation, because maybe many people may not even know what it means, and they think it's just a bunch of wild people running naked in the bush, you know. That's nobody.
No, that's the Wiccans.
Okay, no, you see, we try to learn here, and I know, by the way, but I'm trying to, you know, always try to give the people that maybe they may not know that there is a difference. And by the way, I like to.
I get this question in classes all the time.
Go ahead, please.
I lecture at some of the colleges about this. So, Asatru, just so people know, it simply just means belief in the old gods. It means true to the old gods.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that means. Heathen is an old European term that actually originally came from the Catholic Church. It literally just means someone who lives outside of town, who lives in the heath. As at the point in time that the term was designed, if you were Christian, you lived in town, which evolved around the church. The church built the walls, and so if you were Christian, you lived in town. If you weren't Christian, you lived out in the countryside.
Interesting.
You lived in the heath. And so that became just this descriptive term for those people who didn't follow the new God. They were referred to as heathens.
I see. Very interesting. But I didn't know this particular thing. I thought, in my knowledge that I knew, somebody also is close to the nature, close to the earth, and you know. But of course, I like this new thing that I learned. You know that you're right. You know, if you didn't believe in the Catholic Church, you will run from them because they chop your head. Let me tell you.
That's right.
And this is coming from somebody who used to be a Catholic myself, and I grew up in Rome, and I know that probably if I was there 150 years ago with a big tongue that I have, a big mouth that I have, they would have probably chopped it in pieces. Trust me. So I understand, you know, and I don't even need to be a heathen to have my head chopped in Rome with the Pope. All you have to do is disagree with him. That's it. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very good. And that's exactly what I like about the heathen religion. Let me tell you, even I'm not a heathen, I tell you, the spirit of independence, and correct me if I'm wrong, the spirit that you don't bow down to no man, okay? That's for sure.
No.
And that's what I like, because I feel the same, you know, and I think that's for me one of the first things to say, wow, I like these people. These are the type of people I want to be around. So go ahead. Even we are not the same. You see, we have something in common. We don't want to bow down to anybody. We want to be free. Go ahead.
Well, also true, though. It's in the modern sense, it's fairly new. It originally came to life about 1970, 1972.
Mm-hmm.
I've been heathen about the same amount of time. My father was. He's the one that he discovered it, and he taught me. And for the longest time, you know, I thought that was, you know, there's nobody else like me. Back in the old days, before the internet, I mean, everything was done by letter or, believe it or not, ads in Mother Earth News or what was it, Countryside Magazine or Grit.
The blue sheets.
Wow.
The blue pages. Oh my gosh. What was it, Vortru?
Yep.
Or it's Vortru. In the old days also, the original AFA used to have a publication called Vortru.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a newsletter, came out monthly, and it was on what we called then mimeograph. It was a purplish ink, smelled horrible, but they were called the blue pages, and I still have a few of those copies left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some in the library.
Yeah, you know, and watching it grow over the years, I mean, it's grown and it's exploded. By exploded, I mean we had huge fights, people broke up, groups broke up, and now I guess it's settled down for the time being into basically 3 national groups. My kindred, and I know Vincent, most of Vince's kindred, you know, we keep it local. Because a good example is, the way we worship here in New Mexico or in the Southwest, it's quite similar. But you go up to the Pacific Northwest or you go up to New York or Maine, it's a little bit different. It's kind of like the differences in somebody from Maine going to Louisiana and trying to understand the language.
Yes.
And we have found by keeping it local, you get better touch with the local we call them landvetter, land spirits. In Iceland, they'd call them elves or dwarves in some fashion of it. But here, you know, we call them land spirits. You know, we have house spirits, land spirits. And by keeping it local, this is my personal belief, you keep in better touch with them. And our kindred started, 17 years ago. And we were an offshoot of one of the oldest kindreds in the country, and it was called Keeper of Seasons Hall. And literally, that's what we did. We celebrated according to the seasons instead of a calendar. Because, say, only, 2 days really were celebrated on the calendar. One's midsummer and the other is Yule. Other than that, though, I mean, you couldn't say, oh, it's October 31st, it's time for winter's night. You know as well as I do, living in the Southwest, it could be 15 degrees or it could be 115 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't go by a calendar. You know, and Vince, he's our kindred's called Mountain Haven. Vince has a really nice kindred in Arizona. He's been doing this a couple of days too, haven't you?
Yeah, for a while. Well, the kindred's been around for 17 years now. I've been Asatru since I was 15.
Wow.
Yep.
And that was in South Dakota. So I became Asatru in South Dakota. Basically, I had a falling out with the church that I was very, very active with. So my family were Lutherans, Swedish Lutherans, and so I was very active with the church. And I had a falling out due to some issues with my family and whatnot, and decided that Christianity, be whatever it is, I couldn't participate in the church anymore. That part was done. And so I just went looking. I went and read about every kind of religion I could find, and I went to any type of organized church or any place that would have me, and just kind of at the end of like 2 years of what the Indians like to call a vision quest, I just said, you know what, screw this. This is all really, really just weird, and I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to do what my ancestors did. I worked for them for like 30,000 years, and everything was fine, so I'm just going to go do that. At the time, being in South Dakota back in the day, no computer, no internet, just I had no idea that other people felt that way, so I was just doing it on my own. And it wasn't until I got to college and moved to Arizona that I realized that freaking people all over the world were doing what I was doing.
Interesting. I have a question for you. As I said, I'm learning. I may say stupid things or I may ask stupid things. First of all, let's say if I pronounce it right, because I give it my Italian twist. Asatru. Am I doing it right or not?
Yeah.
Okay,
actually,
good.
No, that's closer to the right way than how I say it.
Perfect. Okay, just to be sure. Okay, Asatru, how do you, let's say, is there a ceremony? I know, for example, if you want to become a Christian, technically you need to go through the baptismal part, okay? If you want to become an Asatru, okay, what is the ritual, if there is any? I'm just curious.
Hey. It varies by kindred.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody got their different system.
Very tribal.
Oh, tribal. Okay.
Yes, tribal is a very good term. We don't have a Bible that says you will do it this way at this time at this day.
Okay.
We have kind of general guidelines, like we call it, like the Havamal.
Okay.
It's the second book of the Poetic Edda. There is nothing in there, thou shalt not do XXX.
Yes.
It says, let me give you some advice. It's not a good idea to walk on thin ice in hot weather. It's literally stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now some kindreds have a very detailed and very, I'd almost say dogmatic ceremony for welcoming in somebody from, whatever outside faith. Our kindred is very simple. We believe it or not, actually in our kindred, not everybody is Asatru or heathen. The original founders of our kindred included a Mormon, a Seventh-day Adventist, an agnostic, and a Jew, and the rest are heathens.
Wow, interesting. Wow.
That's a founder, but see, we live as a tribe.
I see.
Everybody is considered equal, and the only thing that we ask, we are also true, and everybody is welcome at our celebrations. We celebrate every month. We only ask that you do not hail any gods other than ours, and if you're not also true, you wait till the second round goes around, and then it's kind of a saying called host, ghost, and boast. Doing what we call a bloat. It's B-L-O-T. First round is to the god or goddess that we're honoring. The second round of the horn is where it's ancestors.
Okay.
We remember an ancestor. We're very similar to the Japanese in the fact that we venerate our ancestors.
Okay.
And then the third round is boasting.
What does it mean, boasting? I'm sorry.
Singing.
Singing? Okay.
my kids got straight A's in high school today, or my wife is the most beautiful woman on the planet. Boasting, or anything you want.
I see.
We say host, ghost, and boast.
I see. Great. Okay, very good. Something
But other kindreds are different.
I see. Question. Go ahead, please.
Is it Chuck? Thing, which is what Chuck was just talking about, I think is one of the universal things. I've met a lot of different kindreds and a lot of different Asatru people around the whole U.S. and the world. And bloat is one of those things that is pretty universal. Well, at least the stumble part, what Chuck was just talking about, the 3 rounds.
The stumble part of it, right.
Host, ghost, and boast is pretty much done that way all over the world, as well as all over the U.S. I mean, in Spain, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland.
Northern Italy.
Yes, I see.
That. And I think that has to do with the ancestral worship.
Now, I'm just curious, guys. What is, I'm sure you know your bloodline. For example, Chuck, where is you're from? Your great-great-grandfather. You have an idea? Did you trace them?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It depends on which side of the family. On my mother's side of the family, my family is Apache and Spanish from Spain.
Okay.
On my father's side of the family, they are Swede and Basque.
I see. Okay.
Blood, you want to get in a good fist fight. Bring that up at a big gathering. You'll have one hell of a good fist fight on your hand.
Question: you don't need to be, let's say, a Norse blood to become an Asatru. So you can be also, let's say, a Greek guy.
You're right. This is me.
Yeah.
Me, I say no.
Okay, but
because if you show me a pure blood American, I'll eat my hat.
Yeah.
The gods call who they want, but that's my belief.
Okay.
Now, I do, in one fashion, it's I'd rather associate with my kindred.
Yes.
If that makes sense, I got friends, from all different walks of life, all different religions, sexual orientations, colors, creeds, backgrounds. But my kindred it's my tribe. We're very, like I said, Vince said, we're very tribal.
Yeah.
And not all kindreds are like that.
I see. Question, you can answer me wherever you want. Let's start to talk a little bit. I like always to learn about all these things, and I've been studying a little bit. By the way, I'm enjoying lately at night reading this book called The Poetic Edda that I'm sure you're very familiar. And as I said, there are different layers of understanding. Of course, I'm just scratching the surface because, there is so much, not only wisdom, but also meanings, and sense that you can, you can read the same line in 3 different ways, okay? So it's kind of exciting the way it was written. Now, let's start to share a little bit, who are your gods? Because sometimes people think, oh my God, they are worshiping the devil. I don't even think you believe in the devil. Am I right or not?
Well, we don't worship the devil because we don't actually believe the devil exists, so that would be very difficult.
Exactly, that's what I heard. But, I want just to be sure from you. So tell me exactly what is your belief. Exactly, you have the different gods. Give us the name of the gods and exactly who they are so we can learn something. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, Vince, you'll start off.
Yeah. I'll start off. I'll give you a few. So according to most historians, there were probably, across the European landscape, about 64 gods and goddesses. I can't tell you that many. I could maybe give you a dozen. But I could start with some big ones like Thor, commonly considered the god of thunder, the common man's god, the working man's god, and his wife Sif. Also, a common person's god, family gods. These gods are very important in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, especially where they were very popular because they were related to the people, husband, wife, they had kids, and they were very active in their community, both as protectors and as workers and supporters. And so these were very much common people's gods that lots of villages and tribes regularly made offerings to. Sif being the golden hair goddess, the goddess of wheat and growth, and Thor, obviously, a warrior god, the god of thunder, and the protector and the father figure. And there's 2 off mine. I'll go Chuck. Chuck can do 2 now.
Go ahead.
2 of mine, like he went for the one I personally identify better with is Thor, but Odin, we call him the Allfather. He's the leader of the tribe of what's called the Aesir. That's one tribe of the god. There's 2 tribes of gods. There's Aesir and the Vanir. But of the Aesir, Odin is the leader of it, and his wife Frigga. Frigga is a goddess of the home, of the house. She is Odin's wife. She knows everything that he does, but she rarely says anything. And it's not above her, though. There's no such thing today and even back in the old days, a woman's place is barefoot and pregnant. Because there's been many times that Odin's wife, Frigga, got over on him big time. But those two there are the Vanir side. The Aesir are more I guess you could say, the sky gods. Yeah. But then on the Vanir side of it, these are more the gods of the gentle side of the earth, Freya and Freyr. They're brother and sister. Freyr is the god of the elves. He's god of fertility. And then Freya, his sister, is commonly misconstrued as a goddess of love and sex. But that's really just a very small portion of her. She's really the leader of the Valkyrie. She gets first choice of the dead, even over Odin.
Wow.
You know, the term about Freya, she says, if you can't lay him, slay him. You know? But,
okay. Interesting. Let me ask you something. You know, so you have there is a god for every situation, okay? And, no? I mean, let's say, for example, you want to pray for fertility. Your wife says, please, a goddess of fertility, give me a great child, or give me a child, give me a son, whatever. Who will you pray, for example?
Believe it or not so much to the gods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, yeah.
Go ahead, Vince.
Okay. I was going to say, we spend much more time, ideally, as heathens, our first prayer or calls to would actually go to our ancestors.
Okay.
So, if we're married and we're having trouble getting pregnant and we really want to, we'd make offerings to our ancestors far before we went to the gods.
Okay.
And we talk to them, we talk to the land wights and to those closest to us. And those closest to us would be our dead ancestors that are watching over us and are nearest to us. And so that would be where we would pray to first. Right. On the God end, we have a tendency to identify the gods because we're polytheistic. A lot of people who are new have a tendency to identify the gods to these very small brackets that they're known for. Thor is the god of thunder. Freya is the goddess of sex, that kind of thing. But really, these were regional gods that probably had, for existence, a tribe in Sweden maybe only prayed to one or two gods. They knew about the other ones, but they had one or two gods that they made offerings to regularly and that they prayed to regularly, but only for big times of the year. Again, like midsummer and maybe Yule. The rest of the time, they were making offerings to the land wights or land spirits or to their ancestors. And so that's who you'd go to most for that type of help, that type of spiritual guidance.
I see. Another thing I was going to ask you guys, sorry. So you define yourself as a polytheist, and also, am I right if I look at this also as, let's say, animism? Because don't you look at the nature that gods could be in every part of nature? Am I right or wrong? Maybe I'm just guessing here.
I would say that that's a little off. It's sort of correct. We are very close to nature.
Yes.
We believe that nature and our connection to the land wights is important. But we're hard polytheists. We believe the gods are gods.
Okay.
And there's multiple of them.
I see.
Not just ours, but other people. There's other people's gods, and there's a lot of gods out there.
Okay.
And also, we're very adamant about against all gods are the face of one.
Yeah, that's
I hear that a lot, and for me, I've known nothing else. I've been this way for 53 years.
Wow.
This is all I've known. Yes, I've gone to Christian churches. I've tried it out. I've looked at them and I've studied them. And the thing that got me, and it's, is that no matter what, you're wrong. That's just my observation of it. You are born, according to the Bible, in original sin. You are already wrong when you're born. We don't see that. We don't have the same moralities and the same concept of sin. In a way, we could say we have our own that are, but realistically, though, I've read the Bible many times. I kind of understand it. I think Jesus was probably one of the greatest people that ever walked this earth, and if more of his followers behaved like him, it'd be a better place. But also, though, we don't have turn the other cheek.
I agree.
That is definitely nowhere near part of our religion.
But
also, too, we have a part that it is, you're supposed to be armed.
Yeah.
It's told, it's in, it's like I said, we don't have a Bible. We have a book of good advice.
Okay.
And
who wrote it? Who wrote this book, guys? Who is the author? Who is the author of this book? I'm curious.
Well, Snorri Sturluson is kind of credited as the collector of the Younger Edda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Elder Edda, the Poetic Edda, is put together mostly by Christian monks of the Middle Ages. On when was the Codex Vitics written, Vince?
The Codex was written in like the 9th century.
Yeah, 9th century.
Basically, the total sum was probably put together by 6 priests. But within the priest writings of the Codex, they talk about where the different parts of the Havamal came from. And so most historians think that 3 poets over a span of about 100 years actually wrote the Havamal.
Right.
I see. I have a
and
question.
You can tell the differences in the writing.
Yeah. So the poetic...
Like when you read it... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I was saying the Poetic Edda, and also there is the other one is the Prose Edda, I think. What is it called?
Prose Edda.
Yeah, because I bought that too. I didn't start that yet, so I'm reading it. So there are different ages. I mean, they're different time clock. I mean, a different time of history?
No.
It's the same.
They're different points of view.
Different points of view. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So,
yeah, I learned a lot of things tonight. Now, I have a very important
Edda,
question.
Which is the older or the Elder Edda, is supposed to be, according to Snorri, actual writings of stories that he witnessed and stuff like that, and then pages from the other collections. Whereas the Prose Edda, Snorri came right out and said that he made that up.
I see.
Now we don't know if it's actual lore, but he wrote it specifically as a teaching aid to teach people how to write in that fashion.
I see.
So it might be real lore, but it might not.
I see. Interesting. Question I have for you. You don't go out and start to preach to others, knocking at people's doors and, bring...
No.
No, I never see you guys. I mean, that's pretty... And I like that. Honestly, I like that part of you.
Unhospitable.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Another thing...
we get...
Go ahead.
We get folks over here. We got in fact, I know the young LDS elders that come around on their bicycles, and in the wintertime, when it's a blizzard, I'll give them a ride, and they've come over to the house, and they will ask, and we talk to you about, and we say no, thank you, and we explain that no, this is not our faith, this is our faith, and most of the time they're pretty good, and they just say, okay, and have a good day, God bless you. And one time they were talking to my wife, and they were asking her all sorts of questions about it, and she says, no, this is not our faith, this is our faith. And the guy says, you seriously believe that? And she points right by our front door is our house altar. And she says, look this, what do you think? And the guy says, oh, wow. Well, he says, well, God bless you. And Christine, my wife, says, well, Thor bless you too.
Yeah.
No, it's wrong. It's inhospitable. It's invading people's space the way I see it. Can I talk to you today about the All-Father Odin?
Yeah. Exactly. This is my point. This is funny because I tell you guys, I was a born Catholic. In Rome, you have not many options. The moment you're born is automatically, they give you the Catholic's rubber stamp. And then when I grew up with my personality, are you loading up a gun there? Here, sounds like you're sliding it.
Sorry, we're moving some stuff.
If you want, I can join you with the noise, okay? Okay. Anyway, but beside that, what I was saying, one thing I never liked it when I was a Catholic, the idea that I had to bow down in front of another man. And guess what? I'm proud of myself. At 14, I had a chance one day to meet a man, and I didn't bow down. And of course, I got slapped from the rest of my family, but I don't care. I was so proud. I said, what the heck are we doing here? It's just another man, okay? And I refused to bow down. And anyway, and from that day, I started to say, you know what, there is something wrong here. Then when you study history, you say, you know what, as you said before, if these people would have really followed the teaching of Christ, they would be better people. The problem is that they use religion as a form of power, control power for the masses, because at the end of the day, there is nothing really what Christ said. Christ, one thing I like about Christ, he said, not judge others, do not judge others, and, look at yourself before you judge others. And one thing I'm noticing now, even I'm not, let's say, Asatru or whatever you are, just because I talk about these things, that's why I like to talk about it, because I just like to irritate people out there. Just because I talk about that and I study your books, at least I start to learn, I start to have interest into it. I have so much crap from some idiots that I'm so glad, because at least, on Facebook it takes a second. I just flip them off with a block button, okay? And I have these people come to me, like almost bringing holy water, try to sprinkle it on me and say like, oh my God, what are you doing? I say, well, how dare you tell me what am I doing? That's the bottom line. That's part of these people that I really don't like. And one thing I like about you guys, that you don't go out, you don't judge, you mind your business. And for what I read so far, I don't see anything in your book that says that, hey, if you don't convert, we chop your head, like the Muslims. Am I right or wrong?
You know, yeah, it's with our faith, it's very. I mean, I'm open about my faith. I don't tell people. You know, I don't go out and with a big old hammer and say I am heathen. But, you know, if somebody asks me about it, I have no problem in answering them honestly.
No, that's fine. But you go on your book, and I know that, but I'm just trying to confirm. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? In your book, is there any passage that says to be a good heathen, you must convert everybody else who is not, and if you do not convert, you chop their head, okay? Or you touch them like the Dima, okay? That's the bottom line, because that's what the Muslims do. That's why I draw the line. You know, I respect everybody, but when you have in your book that to be a good, whatever religion you have to convert me with force or make me pay tax like a B citizen, you have a big problem with me. But that's why. That's what I want to know. That's all I care. That's it.
Nothing like that. Well, like I said, we don't even have a Bible. We have a collection of stories that kind of give us a glimpse back into what the life was. We have a collection of stories that give us advice. Mm-hmm. But there is, like I said before, there is nothing, you shall do this. It says, well, it's a good idea if you listen to me.
Yeah.
But, like one of them here, like I said, how we don't have anything like turn the other cheek. One of the things says, he who must rise early, who wants to have another's wealth or life, seldom does a lying wolf get a ham or a sleepy man victory. Mm-hmm. Basically means get off your butt and do something. Okay. Because the guy that's lazy ain't going to get nothing done.
Let me see what I learned so far if I'm good. Because, as I said, I really like to study everything, okay? Regardless, even just for philosophical values or whatever. Asatru, virtues. Every religion normally has some virtues, okay? Courage. Number one, or at least one of the tops. Truth. What's wrong with that? Courage. Honor. What's wrong with that? Fidelity. Discipline. Hospitality. Hope I say right. Industriousness. Means, you're going to work. You're not a lazy bastard, okay? Self-reliance. For the preppers, this is great. I love that. And perseverance. Are these the 9 noble virtues of Asatru? Am I right or wrong?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell me, because that's what I studied. Maybe I got the wrong book.
It is and it isn't.
Okay, go ahead.
It's one of those things. It came about in the 70s.
Okay.
But there is nothing to say that there wasn't something like it. But like the 10 Commandments or like that, no. We have nothing like that. But that is a good representation of what majority of heathens believe.
Okay, as a virtue, as a noble virtue. I didn't say this is a commandment. It's a noble virtue for Asatru. That's what I was trying to say. So,
I like to tell people to think of them like an ethos.
Mm-hmm. Ethos, exactly. From the Greek person, values, like some sort of I understand. Wow.
It's a beginning guideline.
Exactly. Guidelines. Very good. Very good. Okay, guys, question. Did you get, I'm curious because, I see for myself, this is kind of an interesting interaction with even among my Facebook friends, that normally we agree on most of the things, but man, I never got so much BS when I started to talk openly that normally I do everything, especially on my Facebook page. Nobody's going to tell me what I can talk or not about Asatru and heathenism. Just because I was bringing some, and I'll do every time now, just because I need to, cull my Facebook population. When I see idiots, they don't need to be on my page. But my point is, did you get any type of hard time when you go out and or in your meetings, or maybe at your events, somebody come on your face and say, how dare you, bastard? If I could, I would put you on the stake and burn you. I mean, serious. I really believe someone. No, I'm not kidding.
That would be entertaining.
No, I understand.
It happens.
But
it happens.
Go ahead. Tell me your stories.
Yeah. Well, here's one. It was Pagan Pride Day. My kindred, we have a little booth over there, and Pagan Pride Day is it used to be where all the people of different pagan faiths, which we fall into that category, had a little thing to teach other people about their religion, about their faith.
Okay.
Well, there was a very, very devout fundamentalist, Christian fundamentalist, that was going around, and he was just berating people, you are going to burn in hell. He's, just going pure Westboro Baptist Church on everybody.
Gee.
And he comes up to my table, and by this time I'm about 3/4 mad. He comes up and he's up in my face and he's yelling at me saying, we're going to burn in hell. And I finally said, listen, shut up. Unlike my other pagan brothers and sisters, I have no problem killing you where you stand.
Oh, gosh. Did you say that?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. What
I
happened?
said that to him.
Oh, my God.
And he takes off, and he comes back with the police.
Of course.
And a young sergeant from Albuquerque Police Department comes up to me and says, did you threaten to kill him? I said, no. I said I had no problem killing him where he stood. I didn't say I was going to do it. And the cop just started to laugh also.
Wow.
And at this time, my kindred members, my son falls off his chair, hits his head on a tree.
Oh, gosh.
Another one of the ladies, she's laughing so hard that she falls off her chair, and she's just laying on the ground, totally unladylike, laughing.
Yeah.
And then one of the people next to us said, that was pretty rude.
Well,
that's heathens. Okay.
That's heathens. Yep.
Okay, but that's pretty much,
Vince?
and I can see. Go ahead, Vincent. Give me some story yourself.
Okay, so I don't know. That's a good story. It's happened so many times with me. I think probably the best story, the funniest story, anyways. I don't like to get into the rough ones. I've had some
rough ones.
Oh, I've had some rough ones. I've had some incidents that I wasn't sure were going to turn out okay, but they turned out okay.
Okay.
But I think the funniest is we had some, the Baptists came by the house knocking on the door because they opened up a new church.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife opens the door and asks, and it's an older gentleman and a younger gentleman. And they're talking to her about the church and would we like to come down to visit? But so by now I'm walking up behind her going to see what's going on. And she's like, no, we're not Christian, we're Asatru. And he's like, well, what's Asatru? She goes, we're heathen, And so he turns around, he immediately goes, well, you could still come to the church. Just because you're in the garage doesn't make you a car.
Oh, gosh.
I said, what?
What is it? What is he talking about? Oh, my God.
I don't think I understand that. She goes, look, we don't believe in Christianity, we're just heathen. And so then the younger guy comes back with, well, how heathen are you? She's like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not exactly sure. We'll put it at like a 7. How's that? Is that heathen?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is funny. Wow. Well, interesting, guys. Very good. Listen, I have a question also. Do you have in other religions, at least organized religions, do you have a prophet or a pastor or let's say, I don't know, somebody that wants to stand up on their chair and say, by the way, I got orders from the gods. You got to listen to me, or you go to wherever you want to go? You have any special Pope or
Marmor? We don't have a Pope.
I mean,
the closest.
Well, yeah, there's Hunter. No, wait, Hunter. He's got a hat.
Oh, you have?
Oh, that's true. He's got a hat.
Hunter's got a hat that says Asa Pope, and Gary's got a hat that says Asa Cardinal.
Okay.
Okay. So,
so this is real. I mean,
it's a long story from a long time ago, but no, we don't have a head of the church.
Gotcha. Okay.
We have a head of the kindred, and that's about as far as Vince and I go, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. And,
but I mean, like I said, there are 3 national organizations,
mm-hmm.
and
I used to be the head of one of the national organizations.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just I have a hard time. Well, we did. I had a show called Raven Radio. It was on about 5 years,
mm-hmm.
and we talked about this exact same subject right here. And look how big the United States is. It is a huge country. Now, you go back 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 years, what we believed in Village X may be totally different than what was 2 or 3 miles down the road in Village Y. We did not, there was never any, I guess the closest thing to a national priesthood would be Uppsala. It's a place up in Sweden, the Great Hof.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no, there's...
Yeah. And then the Hof that they just found 5 years ago outside of Burka.
Okay.
Right. And then now there's a new temple in Iceland that they're just building.
Yeah, I heard
but
about that.
But no, we don't really have Asatru is too varied. It's a very local religion.
I see.
Another example is the deity that I worship as Thor here is not the same deity that the Swedes worship as Thor.
I see.
They got some of the same actions, the same, we see the thunder, the lightning, and that, but our Thor is for us here.
I see.
And it's a very local and very tribal way that we worship. Do all heathens worship that way? No. You got folks in the national organizations, they don't really have a head priest or a pope, but they got a leader that is very, very close.
Now,
I don't follow that.
I have a question. In numbers, every religion somehow has some numbers, and some they are more popular, some they are less. What do you think right now in the U.S., your religion/movement, how many people you think you are, guys?
In the U.S. or globally?
Any numbers you think you can?
Both?
Yeah. Well, so it's pretty hard to have numbers set up because we don't tally this type of information, and it's not really out there.
Okay.
I've put some numbers together for some different organizations, and I use some math protocols that's used in marketing. So what I'm using is strategic marketing math programming to figure out, based on the numbers we do have, what we probably have conservatively globally. A lot of people don't like those numbers because I'll say something like, there's probably, if you include every country in the world, every version of heathenry that somebody chooses to follow, and don't exclude, you're not excluding the bad heathens like neo-Nazis and stuff like that, which are just douchebags. So you're including prison inmates, you're including the worst and the best, and every part of the range. There's probably about 600 million globally.
Wow. That's a big number.
That seems like a really big number, but actually that's incredibly tiny on a global scale. That's less than Shinto.
Yeah, I understand. Honestly, I don't care because even if I was by myself, I believe what I believe. This is not about being a popularity contest. It's what you believe. Period. That's the bottom line.
And it's much larger outside of the United States than it is in the United States.
Okay, interesting. I know there is an event that I would like to I would like to explain a little bit more important, especially because the station is here in Mohave County. And I would like to ask you, what's going on with this event that you have in Kingman?
Oh, excellent. I love to talk about stuff that I do.
Go ahead, please.
So what we're doing is this is called Southwest Frith Moot. And this is a public event that
Hello? Hello, guys, are you there? I think I lost you. 1 second only. I'll call you back, okay? Are you there, guys?
We can only host so many people at the event before we're at capacity.
I'm sorry, guys. There was a problem with the line.
So it's an open event. It's free. Anyone can attend. We're doing heathen stuff. We'll have heathen seminars and demonstrations, as well as demonstrations and classes that aren't necessarily heathen related. They're just cool stuff people like to know. Like we like to do medic classes if we can, or maybe home prepping or cooking classes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be heathen, but classes people that want to do. But heathen
then
classes.
Then we got the Viking games.
Yep, we do Viking games, axe throwing and hammer throwing, archery, and running contests. Yeah.
Foot races. Yep.
Give me again, please give me again the date and location, because there was a problem with the communication with the line when we were talking. Exactly the date and location of this event, please.
June 3rd to July 2nd. Or June 30th, sorry. June 30th to July 2nd.
And where, please? Where is exactly the location?
That one I got to pull really quick.
I got to look it up, too. Willowpie, it's in Kingman.
Yep.
I just sent it to a friend of mine. Gosh. Oh, we can talk about being prepared for an interview, yeah.
Yeah, well, I knew it earlier, but my brain's dyslexic, so I can pull it up here.
I can't pronounce it.
Willowpie Mountain, am I right?
And I can just pull up
Willowpie Mountain, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep, I sent it to you there. I sent it to you. Yeah, Willowpie Mountain Park in Kingman, Arizona.
Yes, I know the place very well. And do you have a website? I know there is also a website that you advertise the event. Can you please give it out?
Yes, and it is www.southwestfrithmoot.org. I just sent it to you
Yes, I have it in front of me open, and I want to you should let you repeat it because your accent is better than mine when I say things like that. Probably people don't understand. All right, listen.
Well, you got to hear us after 2 bottles of mead.
By the way, I need to get this meat going. I'm really excited because, in Rome they had this sort of a mulsum. It was a wine with honey, and that was their version. But I want to taste this meat. I really want to.
One of my kindred, there's going to be lots of meat again. Last year, Vince, we went through the first night, I think, 30 bottles.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It was... that was just starting out. Then the good stuff came out.
Yeah.
The thing about it is you would think that you get so many people together from ultra liberal to ultra conservative to flaming gay to super straight together drinking that much alcohol. There's going to be fights.
Yeah.
And I think in the 8 years we've hosted Frith Moot, we've had 2.
Wow.
2.
If even that.
So far.
They just got escorted out really quick.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That's excellent. And I'm curious about what exactly do you sleep there? Do you have like a camping there? Do you camp there?
It's a camping event.
Yeah,
it's a camping event. Some people get hotel rooms that are closed because they don't want to camp. So we try to keep it someplace where it's close to places where people can get hotel rooms if they want. And there's a few that are close to this location. But most people camp.
I think it's beautiful there. I mean,
we are too.
That idea, close to nature. I think that's a great opportunity. By the way, it's very nice there.
Well, I don't like to go very far when I'm drunk. I'm drunk a lot.
Exactly. And then I was thinking about you want to have fun, you want to relax, you don't want to, thinking about, oh my God, who's going to be the driver here? All right, listen, I give you the floor, guys. You got 5 minutes. Whatever you want to say, you close this part, and I have to close it with other things. But you got the floor. Whatever message you want to say, it's up to you. Go ahead.
One thing, one of the big misconceptions about our faith is that we are absolutely, positively, 100% totally against Christianity in any way, shape, or form. We're not. Yeah. I don't care. Just, and it's like the holidays. I say Merry Christmas as often as I say Happy Yule. It's just, just be civil to each other. We figured it out after the last 1,000 years. It's just be civil to each other. It's not for everybody, and we don't want everybody because you have to be. I guess you could call it on the old website we had Asatru lore. You could call it a religion with homework.
Yeah,
because there is so much to learn. I mean. It's like, the gods, the goddesses, the holidays, the days of the week, that's the little stuff. The big stuff is adjusting to what we call your worldview and how you look at the world through heathen eyes. Your turn, Vince.
I live as a heathen.
No, I understand. And I tell you, even I have different belief. I like it. People can say, oh my God, you go to hell. I don't care. I really still like your values. And I tell you, I find harmony when normally I talk. I didn't have many experiences, but a few people so far that I met, they believe in heathen and Asatru. I have a great compatibility as a spirit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe another life I was a wild heathen running from the Romans. I don't know what. Okay, but the point is, I believe in independence. I believe in freedom. I believe in respecting each other. I believe in the nature, courage, honor. I think they're all great things. And at that point, the most important, I believe that we should mind our business and we should not, as you said, go on other people's face. Everybody should do whatever they want until infringe on our rights. As simple as that. And I'm not here to judge others. Why should I? I mean, I don't want to be judged. Leave me alone. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you very much. And guess what? I want to say, my God willing and your God's willing, I'll see you there in June, okay?
Awesome.
That would be great.
Awesome.
All right, and I want to get this meat. You need to direct me the right direction, okay? I need to bring my sleeping bag there, okay? So I can have a little fun, too. All right, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, okay? Let's be in touch.
Thank you. Great. Take care.
All right. That was beautiful. I really enjoyed this, and I'm really always looking forward to learn new stuff. Now, little break, and then we close this hour. I'm going to, give you some more erotic poems, because last Sunday everybody was freaking out, especially the ladies. I got the great reviews. Thank you very much. And I will share more new erotic poems on my new book, Perfectly Crazy. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna. Do not go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca-Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, we're back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is Luca-Zanna. The last few minutes, as promised, I will play for you. Not even playing, because this is going to be, let's say, recited. Is it the right word in English? I have no idea. I don't care. It's going to be my poems, some of my erotic poems. The last Sunday, they really hit the bottom. The bottom of what? I don't know, but let's play Prayer. I stand tall and hard under the stars. While you're praying on your knees, you caress my arms. You lift my spirit, going deep and far, until finally explodes like a shooting star. You can taste my love that is flowing inside you. The night is young. Now I will pray for you. Well, that was a different type of prayer. Hope some Catholic priest is not going to get mad at me, but you know what? That's the way I like to pray. Of course, I pray to God too, but I digress. This is not the time, the place. Something a little more romantic. On the road. On the road, my thoughts get clear. Doubts disappear. Mile after mile I ride. You're always in my mind. You are the one. Well, that was kind of profound, I must admit it. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the last part of the show. I'm going wild today. It's just about poems, poetry, different type of poetry. It's love, visions, and erotic poems by Luca-Zanna. Oh, my dear, I treasure life, but death I do not fear. Only regrets of our misloved. Oh, my dear. That was pretty profound too, I must admit it. Let's go something still kind of romantic. My universe. Sand. Ocean. Breeze. Night. Moon. Stars. You. My universe. Well. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the hour about love. So we're allowed to do pretty much whatever we want. Love is not fair. Not a little short poem I wrote. I really like this one. Your curves are the hills where I find comfort in moments of despair. Your lips are my water. Your breath is my air. Your breath is my air. Sorry, my English sucks. Nothing is forever. Love is not fair. I think we should go something deeper now. I think of you. I wake up in the morning and I think of you. I stare at the stars and I think of you. I drive on the highway and I think of you. I try to sleep and I think of you. I go shopping and I think of you. I make love with her and I think of you. I'm screwed. Wow. That's pretty weird, huh? Interesting. Anyway, we're almost at the end. Guess what? Now I'm going to give you the last one. Heavy duty. Hopefully the SEC is not going to listen. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do anything illegal. Okay? The last one. I want to give you the best, the toughest, the deepest. Okay. This is going to be nice. Nothing wrong. Come on. Steve Ruby, don't freak out. The owner of the radio. Good night. Sometimes I wish the world would stop with us. Just you and me under these countless stars. Nothing but the sound of your breath while you lay your head on my chest, feeling the universe in and outside our bodies, getting lost for eternity in each other's arms. Good night. You know who you are. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.